Okay, we're on a certain task which I'm going to delegate to you guys so that you can delegate to your kids and they can delegate it back to rest of the Muslim world. We're about to connect, inshallah, 2 billion people one by one, and for that I need everybody's help. So what is the Awakening Tour? What are we trying to wake up you to? We're going to try and wake you up to a certain mode, a certain decision, and a certain choice. When am I going to get the screens on? Okay. I'm going to take about 20 minutes to get to know you, and then we're going to jump into the content. It's going to be a little technical. Don't worry, not boring, but very technical. I was told that Newcastle is like the brain of the Muslim community in England. Is that correct? Really? I just made that up. You guys are just full of yourselves. No, seriously. Yeah, no, I was told that. And you're going to have to up your game. Okay? So I said, okay, I'll up my game. Don't worry. You're going to see a lot of content which is going to entice you to think and to actually do something about some serious, real problems, especially the problem that this child, this is Urva, yeah? This child is not even aware of, and she's going to solve for people around the world, inshallah, especially people where you guys came from. Okay, who's not a Pakistani here? That's good. That's, yeah. So where are you from? Bangladesh. And who's from India? Okay. And who's from Bangladesh? You just said Bangladesh. Yeah, one. Okay, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladesh. Anybody other than Pakistani, Indian, Bangladesh? Okay. So yeah, okay, where are you from? Oman. Okay, so you cannot understand Urdu at all. सब समझ आती है? क्या नाम है आपका? Munira. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna actually, you know what? Let's start with you guys because I usually start with the children. Who are the parents in the house? Parents? Okay, people who are in their 30s and less, 30 or less. Yeah, 30 or less. Just keep waving your hands, 30 or less. Okay, now I'm going to go for a hunt. Okay, I'm going to be picking up on you. Okay, here you go. Oh, that's your daughter? Okay. What's your name? Bilal. Okay. So there are three kind of people I'm going to be talking to, and you'll know why. You'll see those three people right there. I'm here with a threefold agenda. I'm not here haphazardly trying to actually present some numbers and stats. I have an agenda, and I'll disclose the agenda right away. But before I disclose that, there's a reason why you came here, because you didn't know the agenda. We're all Pakistanis. हम कुछ सोच के थोड़ी आते. Okay, so I want to know why you guys came here. Okay, so let's just start from the back. So right there. Yeah. Yes, sir. What's your name? What did you say?
Muhammad Ashraf Khan.
Muhammad Ashraf Khan, sir. Okay, yeah. So, sir, why are you here? Why are you here?
Just for my kids.
You're here for the kids.
Yeah. I bring my whole family.
Yeah, but why? Why did you bring your family here?
Just listen to you.
To do what? There has to be some flavor. Say, like, this is not a Tariq Jameel session, eh? You know Tariq Jameel Sahib, eh? No, you don't know Tariq Jameel Sahib? You're a cool crowd, aren't you? It's all right. I've had worse. So it's not a regular Muslim session. And if it's not a regular Muslim session, you're going to have some sort of dissonance. You know what dissonance is? You're going to have a lot of challenge. ये क्या बात है? ये कैसे? ये तो सेंस नहीं बन रही बात की. या तो इस्लाम ये वाला ठीक है, या फिर बाकी वाला सब गलत. ऐसे भी एक मौका आएगा. It's going to come a point where you're going to have to really go into this sort of decision that, oh my God, are you telling me that everything that we ever learned could be wrong? Yeah, there is going to come a point in time here in this very session. Not too many times, but there will be a time. Okay? So beware. I'm just throwing caution early on. Ji sir. So Ashraf Khan, sir, how old are you? 52. Okay, and you got how many kids? 4. And they were born here? They're born in Pakistan, kids. Okay. Okay, they're okay. So listen, I'm going around the world for a reason. And I'm telling everybody about English Muslims. The Bengalis, the Indians, the Pakistanis. I'm talking about the English diaspora. You guys. Why? Somebody answer me this. Why? Why am I so confident in the English Muslims? To what? Oh, I wish. No. Nah. Anybody? You do not have Pakistani politics here. Actually, you have. Kis ghar mein jao, Jio hi laga hua aapke ghar mein. I mean, come on, come out of it. Every English Pakistani is still watching ARY and Jio. You know, this is not, I mean, it's okay to be connected, but you should be a lot more into the English politics by now. No, that's not why I can't, why I'm actually boasting. Really? You guys are more intellectual. Okay? Actually, that's half right. Yeah. You're more, okay, what's your name? Hamida. Abida. Yeah, that's partly the reason. Is it supposed to be like this? Or for the screens? Somebody, Ahin, talk to me. Yeah, we good? Lights, I see. Oh, okay. Yeah, lights that I'll be on rakhega. I wanna keep playing with Jay from this section. Yes. Who is brought here by force? Ammi ki taraf se. Yeah, come on, it's all right. Yeah, you are. Oh yeah, you are. You brought your daughter by force. She didn't want to come. No, okay. Oh yeah, there you go. What's your name? Fatima. Who forced you? Yeah. So you didn't have a babysitter? I wanted to volunteer. So why did you say you've been forced? Bit of both. Okay. Okay, see now listen to me. I know that there's so much thing. I mean, Newcastle has a very rich nightlife. Rich, that's the word. So there are many places you could have been at this very point in time. But somehow you happen to be here. Now that means you're a certain type of demographic. Now you need to understand there's a certain identity that you already have. Now you better admit it sooner than your kids hit their puberty. Because unless you play on that identity, they're going to get confused. And that's why I'm asking certain questions. It's not every day that a practicing psychologist enters the Muslim speaking, sector. So I'm going to be playing around with a lot of concepts. So you better understand why I'm asking certain questions. Yes, sir, right, bilkul piche, right in the back. The red t-shirt, sir. Or a shirt, yeah. What's your name? Ammar. A-M-M-A-R. A-M-M-A? D, Ammar. Okay, Ammar. You came by own choice. You did. You good? 2 minutes. Okay, sorry, take your time. Yeah. Why? See, there's a session of Maulana Taj Jamil on the 4th. Okay? I'm just telling you because it is. I'm supposed to be in that session. I think it's London. He's coming to Manchester as well. So when you decide to go to a Muslim religious speaking session, you have a certain perception about what's going to happen there, right? Yeah, what's that? That microphone is not working, you know that? No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the guy. Yeah. Closer. Learn. Okay. So is there a different perception about these sort of sessions and the session that you actually have with people with turbans? You don't know, okay. Listen, who you guys listen to in Newcastle? That's it? That's the two guys? You don't know the third guy? Really? No, it's quite an honor. Taj Jamil and Sahil. Yeah, who else? Numan Khan. Who else? Dr. Sar? Really? You guys are listening to Dr. Sar? Mufti Menk. Yeah, we all love Mufti Menk. Yeah, who else? Isa Khelvi? What did you say? Mirza, oh, yeah. I thought you said Isa Khelvi. Yeah, okay. You're listening to that too. Zakir Naik, Dr. Sarar, Didat. Do you guys even know Didat? Ahmad Didat, you guys know about them? Ramli Saab, okay, yeah, okay. He's okay. I'll tell you why. There's a reason why I'm asking you these questions. See, you guys are not used to the word called library in England anymore. There was a time when people had a way with books. Now, you guys have entered a way bigger library, way bigger. No human being has ever invented that kind of library before. And you guys are always in it. So this is a very learned generation. Camera, sitting, keep together. Now everybody knows that I'm actually speaking to. That library is called YouTube. You guys are consuming more content than any scholar that ever lived. Okay? You need to understand how to look at YouTube. That's why I'm actually asking you, who is the guy who's actually filling up those spots in the library? Which aisle are you sitting in? And most of you guys are obviously sitting in the religious aisle. That's why you're in this hall right now. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know about this session, let alone come here. So now that you're here, I'm trying to ask you which aisle is more enticing for you so that I can draw a pattern. Okay? And I really need to draw a pattern. So, Mufti Menk, Dr. Srar, Mufti Menk don't go hand in hand, you know. So that's why I'm a little, it's a little tutti-frutti. You mixed up a little too much. Ghamdi Saab and Dr. Srar don't go hand in hand, you know. You have to choose either or. And who else did you name? Didat, come on, really? You guys are not old enough to know Didat. Who knows Didat here? You girls know Didat. Have you listened to Didat? How? Where? Online? Okay. If you have to choose one word, what's the one word you're going to say if I say Ahmad Didat? That's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Ahmad Didat. I didn't catch the accent. I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to this English thing, okay? Great guy. Great guy?
No, great guy.
Da'i. Okay. Tabligh, legend. Okay. Okay. And what is the first word that comes to your mind when I say Mufti Menk? Progressive. Boys, Mufti Menk? Yeah, boys are not really into Mufti Menk, eh? Do you know who Mufti Menk is? Okay. Okay. Gee, let's begin proceedings. The other one. Yeah, just. I just need the clicker. Oh, you're using it. Okay. Okay. Any questions anyone has for me before we begin? Any question about anything other than parenting? Okay. We're good? Speak now, or hold your peace forever. Yes, ma'am.
I want to learn about how to make your kid more emotionally high intelligent.
That's parenting.
No, but not just kids. Even adults who control level of intelligence, especially women.
In England?
Yes.
Your kids are born in England?
Yes.
And they have a lower EI quotient?
Not born in England. Pakistan से
Cub.
20 years. पैदा तो पाकिस्तान में हुआ है. But
Okay.
people,
How old are your kids?
I do
One?
17 and then 30. I have a son, 19.
Okay. So you guys are,
They are fine.
who's not?
Me, I'm not. I
Oh.
don't think I am. Because there are phases when you feel that emotionally you're not that high intelligence level where you should be.
I'm going to cover that in the other presentation, don't worry, in detail. That's why I said it's okay. Parenting is going to be covered thoroughly. Don't worry about it. Okay? Yeah. Oh, Urva, GS. Really? How do you actually be a good Muslim? How old are you? 4? You're 5? How old are you? You're 7. Okay. Okay. I want to talk about this in detail. Don't worry. Okay? Yes, sir.
You were asking before what we are expecting from today. I'm just here for some physics and Islam.
Physics and Islam. No, today is not going to be physics. Today is going to be psychology and Islam.
Okay, that's fine. That'll do. But if you can connect some science and Islam maybe together,
Oh, it's going to be all science.
that's
All science. Yeah, better. Yeah. If you, I'd be disappointed if you don't have any questions. See, when I speak in Pakistan, I don't get the right kind of questions. I went all around, well, literally, this is the corner of the planet. From Australia, here, Indonesia, and then Australia, then here, and now I'm going to Scandinavia. So, you know what? So that I can get better and deeper questions, so that these cameras can catch those questions, and people all over the world can start to think. Because the answer is not going to make you think. Questions are. Okay. That's why I'm here. And I'll tell you why I'm boasting about English Muslims. Because you guys are born here a couple of generations ago. Anywhere else the Pakistanis or the Bengalis or the Indians have gone, they have gone recently. It's the second generation in America, first in Australia. Okay? I'm talking about the bigger cluster, and I'm talking about exceptions. In England, you guys were here way before King Charles was born. So you guys are supposed to be way more English. I'll tell you why. Because when diaspora happens, there's a concept called acculturation, and I'll tell you what that is in the other deck. I'm just going to lay out the landscape in front of you first, okay? This is the landscape. I'm going to tell you the situation right now that your kids are born into. Your kids are born into this planet. I'm going to show you that planet right now. Literally, like the planet. Okay? You need to see the kind of planet a Muslim needs to, from a Muslim lens, from the lens of a Sahabi. Okay? You need to change the perspective only. Everything else you're doing just fine. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been in this sort of session in Newcastle. That's why I'm thinking, we're the same kind of people. That means we got to have the same kind of lens. I'm not forcing a lens on you. I'm enticing you to think. It's going to make sense to you. It's going to change your life, inshallah. I'm telling you, this could be, and it should be, the most important 4 hours of your lives. If it's not, a lot of people came together to make this sort of content. All the effort went down the drain. Really? Is this better? It's going to be a problem because my hands keep moving. I'm more of a... Yeah. Okay. So कभी तक कुछ समझ नहीं आई? आवाज आ रही थी? Okay. It's okay. So this is the landscape. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. You had a question. Sorry.
I came here a question if you can remind all of us for Gaza.
Yeah, I'm moving just for Gaza. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah. What is the problem? Yeah.
I'm pushing for globalization. I think it's high time we talked about how should we unite and what should we the step to.
Thank you.
How should we unite and how should we not look at the differences we have and all those things. I see multiple organizations, including IMS, and even I'm associated with Bayina Institute as well. And there are multiple like these in different countries. Is there a way or approach to connect these organizations, because they are quite organized and they have a vision as well? So is it one of the approach we could take, that we could collaborate with these organizations of Muslims to come to a common platform, if you know what I mean?
No, I don't.
All right, so for example,
Let me try and paraphrase you. There's so many organizations. They're just instruments. Okay, this is not a session to join an organization. This is a session to actually change your perspective. All these instruments are of their own use. You can put all of them in some use, okay? I did not know about Bayina. I thought it was an Arabic training institute, okay? Yeah, you need to be in a movement. I'll tell you how to get in a movement, don't worry. And you better start a movement, okay? I'm going to change. Okay, you know what? If there's one word about this, all of this today's session, that one word is career. I'll tell you how to look at a career, okay? That's it. You're going to have to change your career after this. Every prophet had a career. Every Sahabi had a career. So illustrious that we're naming, all of us are naming our kids, you know, based on their career. There are many Sahabis you don't know about. The ones that you know, they had an amazing career. I want to show you a lot of faces who have an amazing career as well. We just don't know how to look at the word career. The last generation that came to England from Pakistan or India or Bangladesh, they had this very one word in mind, not for themselves, for you guys. They literally gave up their blood and their sweat. They could have had an amazing life in Pakistan. Friends, family, you know, a lot of honor. They gave up everything so that you guys could have a career. My job is to take over now. They did their job. They did the grunt work. You have no idea what they went through. Now you got whatever you got because of whatever they gave up. Now it's my job to tell you now I'm going to get the baton from them. I'm going to tell you how it looks like, what to do about this. If you're not going to change your career now, then you are the problem that Gaza is suffering from. You are the enemy. And I'm telling you, I'm coming after you. Because there are going to be people who are going to make a career to solve you as a problem. Because Gaza is not suffering from Israel or the Jews, no. Or the Zionists, no. Gaza is suffering from 2 billion Muslims who are changing this meaning of the word career. That's it. All the non-Muslims of the planet are laughing, literally laughing at us. I'll give you a little case study to begin with. When the apartheid was butchering, literally, lynching the South African community, this very country was calling Nelson Mandela a terrorist. Margaret Thatcher called him a terrorist. Understand what I'm trying to get at? Most of the people were not going to do anything about it. You know who went to help the black community of South Africa? Who went to give their lives, their money? The Jews. You know what? From the Torah. They followed the Torah. They said it's a religious duty to help these people or whoever. This is half the story. In the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jalla told us to do that. وَمَا لَكُمْ لَا تُقَاتِلُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَالْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ وَالنِّسَاءِ. Not min al-Muslimina wal-Muslima. No, min al-Rijali wal-Nisa. Wherever a human being is going to be oppressed, you go. Even if you have to kill the oppressor, do it. You go, save the oppressed. And you know what the ironic part is? Ironic part is that when Ghazans went down, this time around, those very South Africans came to save us. We were just sitting here, having whatever we're having, calling it a good life in England. And the South Africans went to the International Court of Justice to save our babies. Even though Jews came to save them, they went against the Jews this time. Don't you see the irony? You know who's actually looking and charting our career? Right here. They're right. They know. That's the deepest part of our shame. Well, shamelessness. That those two parties, one of them went from Israel to help the South Africans, and from the South African flanks, they came in to hit their own helpers. Based on what constitution? What is that constitution South Africa is following? I know the Israelis are following the Torah. Imagine, we were nobodies. Because we have changed the way definition of this word career. I'll tell you what the landscape is, how this happens. That's what I'm saying. If these 4 hours are not going to change your life, I'm sorry. It's my failure. It's a lot of people's failure. Sitting in America right now, in Canada, in Pakistan, who came together to form this sort of a scalpel to do the surgery of the mind. There are 13 people who work with me to do all of that content making. Most of them are psychologists. We're working day and night trying to read whatever we're going through and looking at whatever is happening so that we can actually try and, get whatever. There are no coincidences in Islam. You guys are not here by chance. This is not a classic Muslim session. I'm telling you this right now. This better change your lives. And if it's not going to change your life, I'm telling you, someone else, somewhere else, something else is going to come and take your kids, and they're going to change their lives. And you and I are just going to be nobodies on the day of judgment. God chooses who He wills. My job is to give you, this is a door opening. Here's the doorknob. Just twist it. I can't make you put your foot inside the door. That's something that you yourself are going to have to do yourself. So, here you go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is what the world looks like. This is your planet right here. This is where you are. You cannot see the pointer. Okay, I think you can spot England in the middle of the map. This is the Muslim landscape. You guys came from a certain part of the world, which is very dark and dark green, to a part of the world which you are trying to put some green in. This is England. Okay, this is the situation. This is what you call and how you and I have been trained in Pakistan, in India, in Bangladesh, in Arab, in North Africa, in Indonesia, that this is the Christian country of England. We're taught this. This is not new, or this is not news to you. Everybody knows this. See, now my problem is this is not stating any problem, let alone a solution. Oh no, this is not even a problem. This is a lie. This is old school perspective just to make sure everything gets blurry. Understand, this is not how things are working at all. This is how things are working. They should have been taught this way before this. This is the landscape right now. If you want to solve Gaza's problem, Manira, this is how you start. This is when Allah Azza wa Jal says, Maliki Yawmiddin. This is when Allah Azza wa Jal says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min al-dhulumati ila al-nur. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاءُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتُ يُخْرِجُونَهُم مِّنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. This is the meaning of these ayahs. This is how you have to look at the problem. Your kids should read this map, not this map. This doesn't mean anything. This does not mean anything. This means something. Now we have some tangibility in our hands. Now we know what to play with. This is something you can't even play with. Actually, this has created more problems for Muslims than anything else. I'll tell you how. Don't worry about it. This is why you guys came to England. I've highlighted that in, that's where you are. The 78.4. That's the number you were chasing. You were not. Your fathers, your mothers, your grandfathers, your grandmothers. This is not something you can actually get in the part of the world you're from. You're originally from. Understand what's going on. That's how you solve the Gaza problem. That's how you solve the Muslim problem. That's how you solve the Akhirah problem. Unless you know the right variables, you're not going to form the right equation. That's why Muslim and Muslim kids, Muslim women, Muslim men, all of a sudden, everybody's looking at each other. कि कौन मसला सॉल्व कौन करेगा? हर एक पे नाम डाले जा रहे हैं. We're just blaming each other. MBS is this and MBZ is this and Erdogan and Imran Khan. No one's going to be able to do anything unless our kids understand there are different variables to solve the problem. There are different constants and there's a different chemistry altogether that goes through the brain. We need to train our kids rightly. This is how you look at Islam. This is why I said things are going to change now. This is the real fight between Islam and any other mindset. I'm going to go through this in detail. Don't worry about it. I've got a lot of time. In my other slide deck, I'm going to explain these. Jisko nahi samajh aayi, don't worry about it. I'm going to come back to this. This is called the moral index. The index of how we can actually, how freely we can practice our morality, literally. This is the index of how soon the Muslim world is also going to get LGBT or any other new definition of right and wrong. This is why most of your advocates of Islam can't present any of their cases in places where it matters. This is the map through which South Africa translated the case against Israel. And that's why they took it. Otherwise, a lot of people tried. They didn't even know how to build up that case. Understand this terminology, okay? Understand it. As I said, the word career, you need to know the meaning of this word career. Right now, we've been taught career means prosperity. Big career means deeper, richer, wider, prosperous. Me and my family, nothing else. That's your current definition of career. But England doesn't even make it to the list any and every year that we make that list. Actually, Denmark and Norway keep shuffling the top one, the number one spot every single year, the last 15 years. I mean, I'm not saying England is not prosperous. What I'm saying is way closer are a lot more countries where you could have gone to make more money, more secure places. Actually, here you go. More secure places. Okay? Deeper sense of security, you and your family, your kids. You came here to chase something, and you're still measuring the, foreign exchange rate of your British pound with Pakistani or Bengali rupee, thinking you're more prosperous. Well, there are a lot more ways to get prosperous. See, look at the red. This is what I want you to see. Look at this red. You know what this red is? This red is Pakistan. The most crimson country in this map is Pakistan. And I'm not surprised We are all Pakistani, Indians, and Bengali, right? We know. We go back home, the first thing we do is we get insecure. Okay, I'm going to show you a lot of these. Don't worry. When I'm going to open the next slide deck, that's when it's going to get interesting because I know your mind is boggling right now. Okay, hold on. What has that got to do with our Muslim identity? What has this got to do with my general Muslim confusion? My kids? Well, this is primarily the reason why you're here. This is the reason why none of you here can actually deeply say that this is my country. Even though on paper this is as much of a country of yours than it is of King Charles. But somehow you're just not getting it. Whenever I ask you, where are you from? You go like, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Did you own the country? No, you don't. There are some certain strings that are still calling the shots on your identity. I'm actually going to cut those strings. I don't want you to be Pakistanis or Bengalis or Indians anymore. See, that's a bigger problem. So, look at this. You know what? Let me just go to the next, the other slide deck. Let me just start it formally. Understand why I'm going to start with this. I started with this. In the 1940s and 50s, England started receiving the Indians and Pakistanis. This is the reason why, okay? Because, yes, sir. This one. Uh-huh. Don't worry. I'm gonna explain. No, I got him. I'm gonna explain these slides one by one after I give you. Don't worry. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna explain them. Don't worry, because it's too small. The font size is too small. Yeah. Okay. Can I get to the next? Oh, can I play with this now? This is mine. I want to change the slides. Here you go.
It's still here. You can use the clicker just to move slides. Or...
No, I'm changing the whole deck.
Oh, right, no worries. Yeah, you can.
Can you do that for me? I want to know how you play with this. Yeah, I just.
You want this one up?
Yeah, huh? There you go. Did I give you the... Oh, here it is. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's begin. Just keep focusing on this. Can you see the red? This box. Okay. Whatever I'm saying right now, your brain is... Can you read this one? Whatever I'm saying right now, your natural human brain is sensing all of those words and processing it in a certain manner. And all of us do it the same way. It's general psychology. Whatever I'm saying, you're sensing, and then you're inferring a meaning, and then you're formulating an intent, and then may or may not turn into an action. Now, my job is to make sure more of whatever I say turns into more of an action of your children, right? So I need to understand how this works. Where are your deeper needs? What kind of mental models? And what is your core belief? As long as I'm going to keep resonating with these, you're going to translate more of my words into action. That's how natural psychology works. Now, since I am not your parent, nor are you mine, that's a teacher-student sort of a relationship. Every teacher has to make sure they go through this. They need to understand what are the deeper needs, what is the general belief model, how is he placing importance of these words, this is a mental model, How is he going to prioritize whatever I'm going to say? If it can hit that button or enough number of times, this boy or girl is going to start doing whatever I'm going to tell him to. Now, I am purposely going to counter your belief. Now, that usually doesn't happen. It's a big risk I'm going to take. I want to say something that's going to counter your belief. And it's not going to turn into an action. So why would I do such a thing? Yes. There you go. Because it's the awakening tour. I need to give you the jolt. Okay? Because the kind of action I'm requiring cannot happen overnight anyway. Okay? This is not an election campaign so that you can vote for me or my guy. Okay? I am going to counter this, and I'm going to make sure I keep this intact, and I'm going to obliterate this. Okay? This is a classic mistake. Every human being is taught not to do that. Actually, you might have seen all of those little notice boards in your workplaces, in your schools, and wherever you go to, that please do not talk about religion or politics or this and that and that and that. You know, don't say this and that. This is not, because and they're right. And it's not just those workplaces or sensitive places where public forums. It is every school, every parent, every mentor-student relationship. I am purposely making that mistake. I'm going to bombard a few things inside your minds so that I can actually break whatever has been built for 2, 3, 4 generations. So when you get trained in psychology, this is the first lesson they give you. Don't you dare do that. And I'm going back to my day one in psychology, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. Now, for that, I require a lot more expertise. So make sure you understand, I'm going to try and talk to you a lot, and I'm going to keep you with me a lot. So that I would know whether I am performing this surgery, and it better hurt. Because this surgery, you cannot use anesthesia. I got to wake you up and keep performing, and you're going to have to scream. And if you don't like whatever I'm saying, good job done. Okay? So I'm going to provoke? Yes, I'm going to provoke. I'm going to challenge? Yes, I'm going to challenge. Okay? So, here we go. Why? Why are we here in England? Please tell me, somebody, why are we here in England? We're supposed to be in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. Why are we here in England? For a better life. You guys came all the way here for a better life. Why? What's the better life? Exposure, yes. What does that give you? What does that give you to know more about the world? What does that give you?
I mean, how other people live their life.
So that's knowledge. Knowledge. Yeah, that's knowledge. What else? Come on, let's be honest. Okay, let's not kid around. We came here for money. Okay, it's all right. Don't worry. It's a good thing. Yeah, it's not a haram thing. You came here to make money. Yeah, okay. What else? But you came here more than just money. Security. Okay. Okay. Better life, which means money, education, social security. Okay, comfort, which is security. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's security. That's ultimate security, right? Justice, okay? So you came here chasing certain parameters which were not available in Pakistan or India. Okay? Now, they were available, but they were not consistent. Even if they were available, they're not consistent. Pakistan में जाके सबसे पहला सवाल यही होता आपका. When you go there, Pakistan में सिर्फ उसी की life है जिसके पास. No. We don't say that. Yes. जिसके पास contacts हैं. If you have contacts, you have whatever King Charles has here. No, it's not might is right. It's about me knowing the right person, and I can play under the radar, whatever I want to do. Now we all know Imran Khan ko is waqt kiski zarurat hai? Right phone calls की. See, Nawaz Sharif को यही वाली सजा हुई थी. Literally 10 साल की. He went to prison for 10 years. Few months in Pakistan, rest of the life he spent here in your streets. Because he had the right contacts. Pakistan and India, things work like this. It is that simple. Doesn't matter where the contacts are, but there's supposed to be contacts. Okay? So, you need to understand why I'm telling you all of this. Here, a lot of people came together for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to perform on one word. It's called consistency. Now you know that you can actually live on these streets of England and they're consistently going to perform over a system which you can rely on blindly. That's why you came here. British pound, this sense of security, and your education, which means the intellectual growth. Now, someone from the girl side, please tell me. I want to say this one word, tell me what it means. What is self-esteem? Yes, ma'am. No, morality's got nothing to do with self-esteem. Okay. There you go. That's it. Don't rocket science it, okay? Self-esteem is what I feel about or what I perceive about my own self. In other words, where do I rank myself in comparison to the rest of the world, or whatever world I have? That's self-esteem. That's it. That's it. Don't overthink it, okay, ever. This is the most simple concept. People overthink it every single time. Now, whenever I'm saying social security or exposure or education or money, all of these things, you know what they mean? They mean the translation of your self-esteem. You could not get enough money, which means lower self-esteem. You could not get enough education, did not translate into good enough of a self-esteem. So whenever we say the word identity, that means I know what my self-esteem is relying upon and whether it's going up or down. That's it. Anything I'm saying to you or you saying to anybody else, wherever in your life, this is the sensor, this is the sensor. It is sensing and it is translating into whether it's going to raise my self-esteem or lower it. If it's going to raise it, it's going to translate into an action. That's it. That's a simple rule of thumb. That's how things work. And my job here is to do what? Crash the self-esteem. Imagine the job that I have to do. No one was taking this job. That's why I took the microphone. It took 4 years of thorough discussions that I'm going to be ridiculed. People are going to take jabs at me, throw stones at me, ban me, bar me, even kill me. Yes, okay, give me the mic. I had an amazing career. Google me up, you'll find out. Probably the most expensive speaker in Pakistan. And I went to become a Maulvi. No corporate company is touching me with a 10-foot pole in Pakistan. You need to see. We took this. I had to take the job. Somebody's got to do the job. You know why I took the job? Because I got 4 kids. I don't want to make a copy of my own self and my own son. I want to face the Ghazans on the day of Akhirah and say, you know what, I did the job. I know I couldn't finish it. My son would have if I had done my job right. And it's not just the Ghazans, it's the Pakistanis. You do not know. Ghazans are going through hell. A very clear glimpse of that hell is also in Pakistan. So when a self-esteem of a person or a nation or a group shatters, Ghazans are not going through that problem. Ghazans have high self-esteem. Pakistanis, zero self-esteem. Any Muslim right now, conscious enough, would have no self-esteem after what's going on in Palestine. We better not have any self-esteem. How dare we have self-esteem when people in Palestine are going through whatever they're going through? And Islam is saying when any human being is going to go through that, whatever Palestine is going through, any human being, all the Muslims' self-esteem should plummet. Of why did we not go and help them? That's Islam. That's the identity. That's the word identity written here. Your self-esteem is dependent on where you ranked in the bigger constitution. This is why I'm saying the bigger problem with Muslims is Muslims. They're not defining Islam right to us. That's why I said physics, no. Psychology, yes. So, now you're going to get this next slide. This is why I'm not going to talk about every Muslim. I'm not talking about the immigrants. This is called acculturation. Acculturation is when a low self-esteem group comes into a higher self-esteem group, regardless of whether he rightly defined his self-esteem or not. Since I have low self-esteem, I'm going to move into a group where there's higher self-esteem, and those people, regardless of whether they're right or wrong, they're going to engulf every part of my value system. And I will have to give up everything and copy whatever they have to say or do. Remind us of anyone? It's not just the Muslims, it's basic science. Google it up. What is acculturation? It happened to everybody. When a group, regardless of what their number is, has no self-esteem or low, moves into a group with their people have higher self-esteem, they literally suck out every single element of your value system, your belief system, and you have to take their belief system, their value system, regardless of whether you think it is right or wrong. Because that's our chemistry. It starts copying and mimicking the alpha. This is called acculturation. So, you're going to use this word, you're not going to hear this word a lot in England. Everybody knows, because it's an English word. They use a totally different word for this here, so that it wouldn't become that offensive or that, what's the word, aggressive. There's a certain word that they use. It's called integration, diversification, inclusion, so on and so forth. Even though it's alphabetically a prior word, acculturation is higher in the dictionary. I don't know why they're not using it. Google it up, you'll find out. They're going to write this picture in. It's called the gyroscope. This is the gyroscope every psychologist learns from day one. By the way, this is not the exact gyroscope. I'll tell you, this is the Pakistani gyroscope. Here you go. This is what happens. When a low self-esteem community enters a high self-esteem community, we determine how are they defining it. Ab aap log bataएं, you tell me, why was England your choice? Or whoever decided in your family to come here. Was it the political worth of England? Was it the financial worth? Or was it the intellectual worth? The answer is, sir, all of the above. All of the above. My problem is, it is in this order for all Pakistanis and Indians. That's why whenever I ask a daddy or a mommy in England, how are your kids doing? Was it worth it? He says, yes, it's worth it. How come? You know what he says? We're making good money. They're safe. And now they're educated. I ask any friend of mine who went across the Atlantic, I ask, क्या हाल चल रहा है? सब ठीक चल रहा है? सब ठीक चल रहा है. क्या कर रहे हो? $35 an hour, buddy. सब ठीक चल रहा है. निशानी, $35 an hour. Really? सब ठीक चल रहा है कि निशानी क्या? $35 an hour. I do not know your wage rate here. It's my first time in England. You're doing your math based on the 30th of every month. That's not how self-esteem is done. Self-esteem is not done monthly. There is no human being who does self-esteem monthly, except the Pakistanis and the Indians and the Bengalis. Big problem, eh? This is why this picture is not going to be in any book, there will be similar picture. It'll be in the reverse order. Same indicators in the reverse order. Every human being had made this migration towards who? Other human beings. Why? Because of intellectual superiority. People never moved for money. People always moved for knowledge. People used to cultivate lands, build structures to get money and resources. Now we come to England for money or go to America. I get it. We use this excuse कि पाकिस्तान में तबाही मच गई, सही इसलिए चले गए थे उधर. हम सिक्योर नहीं थे. आदमी घूरते बहुत थे वहां पे. Yeah, I get it. But we know it was the rate of the dollar or the pound. And kids, what's your name? What's your name? Taya, what? Mariam? Mariam. Mariam, you? B-A-R-Y-A. Barya. Barya, how old are you? 15. Now, you wouldn't know what your father was thinking when he was getting in the line for that visa many, many years ago. You wouldn't know that. And thank God you don't. Because you were born here, right? Yeah, and you did not choose England for money. You needed to, and you did, compete with the English based on intellect, education, IQ, wisdom, exposure. The problem was in the last generation, I get it. But if they gave you that problem, and you know how we give our kids our problems? I'll give my body a problem. I talk to my wife about my money issues in front of her. At your age, you shouldn't even know the currency rate of the British pound versus the Pakistani rupee. That's not your problem. We give our problems to our kids. That's how they think. That's the meaning of the world or life or success. So they have the broken gyroscope, and that's why you're going to get intimidated by the next white girl, regardless of whether she is intellectually superior or not, just because she's white. And that's a problem I'm here to solve. First, we need to solve this problem. Otherwise, the Gaza problem is not going to be solved. You know why the South Africans went to the Court of Justice? They're not suffering from identity problems. They know who they are, the South Africans. They don't get intimidated or bullied by anybody because they're comfortable with who they are. Now they can practice their own belief system. If your identity is in crisis, your belief doesn't matter. It doesn't matter कितनी नमाजें पढ़ते हैं और अल्लाह के बारे में अकीदा क्या रखा हुआ है. Identity shattered है, you're a nobody. You are the cancer, you are the problem. That's why I'm saying, you want to YouTube Mufti Manx and everybody? I get it. Listen to Aqidas and Namaz and Barakat and Azkar, I get it. But there's a reason why none of those videos are actually working. There's a reason why Newcastle will have more masjids than namazis. There's a problem to solve. By the way, the rule in Islam is simple. You cannot open a next masjid if the first masjid does not fill its saf of the Fajr prayer to its full. But in England, I'm sure there are a lot of uncles and aunties here, Baria, who are boasting about kitni masjidin kholi unhone. You know? But their job was to make sure the one masjid was to its full, every single prayer. And no one's going to do anything about it. We're looking at things totally wrong. Coming back. So, if your self-esteem is directed towards people, even if they're not Muslims, but for the intellectual or the wisdom or the knowledge quotient, it's okay. That's the right thing to do. Even Allah Azza wa Jal says that. Go and ask those people of knowledge. That is the natural course of the order of the human movement. This is how we're supposed to measure England. England was always measured through Cambridge and Oxford and whatnot. It was never measured through the great British pound sterling, except in the Desi world. We measure England not through the Cambridge or the Harvard or the Yale or the Ivy Leagues or whatever. No, we measure him through dollar का rate क्या है, British उसका pound का rate क्या है, इसलिए वहाँ पे वीजा लेना है. None of the Pakistani Americans, well, not none, generally, less than 1%. So 99% of the Pakistanis in the American embassy queue are not there कि उनके बच्चे हार्वर्ड जाएंगे. No, no. उनको किसी दोस्त ने बताया, उन्हें किसी कजन ने बताया, उनके चाचा ने बताया, उनका अपना भाई पहले से वहां पे टैक्सी चला रहा है, आज आप बेफिक्र रहे. हालांकि चाचा 5-5 बच्चे इनके. They're not even thinking about the fact that, what is America going to keep their kids? No. Even the Americans don't even know why the Pakistanis move. You need to understand why I'm putting so much stress on this slide. First day in London, my first session. And this guy starts, mujhe sirf ye bataye. And there was a guy, by the way. He was an uncle. Very well-versed uncle. He said, इकबाल की खुदी मुझे चाहिए अपने बच्चों में, मैं इसलिए आया था. इकबाल की खुदी लेने आया था. Amazing speech, good words. Social welfare पे इकबाल की खुदी नहीं मिलती. You get it? इकबाल की खुदी के लिए सबसे पहले वेलफेयर छोड़नी पड़ेगी. इकबाल की खुदी ज़कात पे नहीं आती, आसमानों में आती. I respect that cab driver who has a vision that my boy is going to take over the world. That's why I'm paying the price right now. I cry for that cab driver's, intent and sacrifice. He has the right direction. But a guy who's sitting back, not doing, I got more kids, so I'm going to get more welfare. His kids are going to become cancer. They're getting the wrong definitions. Those are the problems Muslims are suffering from. Because they have shattered, they have flipped the exact lopsided self-esteem on its head, literally. They're standing upside down. This is a problem we better solve right now. Not for us, it's okay, it's too late for our kids, for Bariyas, for Amiras, for Kirats, my little one. I better start telling her, even if I'm a failure, I will call myself a failure in front of you, so that you wouldn't repeat my mistakes. I'm not going to boast my ego, even though I got wrong definitions. This is how you're going to understand this. Okay? For 3,000 years, understand, I'm going to go a lot more into the classification now. Please keep asking questions during this now, okay? Abhi tak ke yes, ma'am. No, उससे बहुत पहले.
वो खुद ही तो नहीं है, सेल्फ एस्टीम पे तो कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके तो आ गए हैं. अगर हम अपनी सेल्फ एस्टीम पे ऑलरेडी कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके यहाँ आ गए हैं, बच्चों को कैसे सिखाएंगे वो? हाँ, बातों में सिखा सकते हैं, नहीं बेटे आपने कैम्ब्रिज जाना है, हार्वर्ड जाना है, और उसके लिए मोटिवेट भी करते हैं, सब करते हैं. लेकिन जब आपका बच्चा बुली होके घर आता है तो आप क्या बोलते हैं कि नहीं लड़ना नहीं है, ओ छोड़ दो, वो गोरे ऐसे ही हैं, और या फलाना ग्रुप ऐसे ही है.
किरण, जिन लोगों ने अपने बच्चों को कैम्ब्रिज में डाला है ना, उनको कोई रॉकेट साइंस फार्मूला नहीं आ रहा था. उन्होंने बड़ा सिंपल तरीके से कहा, कुर्बानी मैं दूंगा, बच्चा कैम्ब्रिज जाएगा.
नहीं, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जब सपोज आपका बच्चा एक हाई स्कूल से वापस आ रहा है, ठीक है, और वो बुली हुआ है.
No, I get it. उसका कैम्ब्रिज से क्या ताल्लुक है अगर बुली हो?
मैं ये बता रही हूँ कि हम सेल्फ एस्टीम की बात अभी कर रहे थे, तो आप उसको सेल्फ एस्टीम का लेसन तो नहीं देते हैं उस टाइम, आप तो उसे सरेंडर का लेसन दे देते हैं कि बुलीज के सामने जो है, अगर तो आप बुली बनेंगे, अगर आपने बेटे लड़ना है तो फिर तो आप लड़ें, क्योंकि आप भी एंड अप वैसे ही होंगे. अगर आप फोकस करें जस्ट स्टडी पे और सेल्फ एस्टीम थोड़ी लो रखें,
आप सेल्फ एस्टीम का क्या मतलब, मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा आपके, क्योंकि आई
कि
थिंक
आप उतना अगर आप फील कर रहे हैं अपने अंदर, आपने बोला कि सेल्फ एस्टीम,
लिसन, इफ माय चाइल्ड इज गेटिंग बुलीड आई विल टेल हिम टू फाइट बैक. ये सेल्फ एस्टीम है बस. उसका कैम्ब्रिज से क्या ताल्लुक है?
उसका मतलब ये है कि आप हर दफा ये नहीं कहते हैं,
कहना है ना हर दफा.
होता नहीं है लेकिन ऐसा प्रैक्टिकली.
Well, you better go and start, doing something about your child then. Listen to me, bullying is a totally different issue. I'm not going to talk about bullying right now, but self-esteem is about defining what is the right thing to do. And even if you get bloody and bruised, it's okay. Get bloody and bruised. Self-esteem is high logon ki, it doesn't mean that, you know what, oh, he's mighty muscle and he's got high self-esteem. No. A bruised man dying on the road can have self-esteem because he was dying for the right reasons. He didn't give up. I'm telling you this. Being safe and secure does not mean you have high self-esteem. A lot of people will be safe forever and they will never pick a fight with evil. And that's why they'll always be safe. That's why I'm against those mommies who are praying for 1,000 years of life to their kids. They're making, their kids go weak because there's only one formula to live 1,000 years, to hide. To hide from any and everything. You're going to live a long life. There is no other formula to live a longer life because you're going to come out of the street, some bus is going to hit you. Okay? So, you better train your children to make sure that they know that it's okay to get scars. It's okay to have a scarred face or a scarred soul, but it's not okay to have a broken soul. There's not a Muslim, there is no Sahabi, there is no Mu'min, there is no Wali with a broken soul. And all of these Sahabis had bruised, battered bodies. Some even didn't have limbs. So you need to understand, it's not about England or Pakistan or wherever. It's about mommy, daddy, and the child. Regardless of whether it's in Edinburgh, England, London, Miami, Manila, Miyan Wali.
मैं आपको एक सिंपल सी मिसाल दे रही हूँ कि अगर स्कूल्स में ये इशू चलते रहते हैं तो एक पॉइंट तक हम बोलते हैं कि ओके फाइट बैक, गो टू योर टीचर्स और all those measures. But when it prolongs, we say just take a side, focus on your study, or we move your school, or do these kind of things. But then that means, are we compromising with their self-esteem? क्योंकि हम उनको ये प्रीच कर रहे हैं कि अब आउट ऑफ ट्रबल रहो, इट्स टू मच.
देखिए, आप सेल्फ एस्टीम का कोई और मतलब ले रही हैं. पिटाई हो जाने से सेल्फ एस्टीम कम नहीं होती, तो फिर उसकी सेल्फ एस्टीम बुली से कैसे कम हो रही है? अच्छा, ओके, everybody is getting bullied in England, पहले तो ये बताएं. Okay, this is an exceptional case, a smaller cluster, right? Just in case, there's a technique to deal with bullying. Okay, learn it. There's it's a textbook technique. Everyone should know when their kids are getting bullied, regardless of whoever is bullying them, doesn't matter. Bullies are not whites, blacks, or whatever, or brown. Bullies are bullies. Okay, and being bullied does not, require you to be brown or a Pakistani or Indian. White kids get bullied, black kids get bullied, doesn't matter, who is being bullied. So the classic textbook technique is simple. You can, first you need to train the parents. Okay? कि अगर आपके बच्चे को चोट लग गई है, कोई बात नहीं. Make sure he stands his ground. And these people who get battered a lot, they get developed better in so many other ways. But people who run away from fights, they never get developed. Okay, that's the rule for girls and boys together. So, अभी bullying के ऊपर मैं आता हूँ, मुझे parenting के ऊपर मैं इसलिए इस वक्त ना करें, इस वक्त मैं self-esteem की बड़ी simplicity के अंदर जा रहा हूँ. Listen, there are only two. Allah Azza wa Jalla says there are only two kinds of establishment you're going to put yourself into. Establishment means the systems. Establishment means the definitions of security. Yahan pe, this is where this is the establishment. This is the establishment. How are you putting yourself into this sort of a thing? Now, Allah Azza wa Jalla says there are only two kinds of people in the world, okay? This is your identity. It is as simple as I'm going to tell you. Allah says, if you want to classify two people, you classify two people based on the way they define where the laws are going to come from. That's it. That's simple. Who's going to make the law? Now, you came here because there was a better system of law. That's it. That's simple. That's the political worth. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is where you are. Okay? Oh, come on. Where am I? This is, just stay here, okay? Let me just recap so that I can bring everybody, because I'm getting a feeling from your question that everybody is not in the same page right now. In general terms, all the human beings, regardless of they're Muslims or not, general terms, even the church is suffering from whatever masjid is suffering from. The church-going parents are also crying about their kids going through some problems. Okay, the synagogues are going through that as well. In Israel as well. So it's all about a general human behavior that, of course, started from places close to England. And now you are in England, so you are going to suffer from those. Your kids are going to start asking certain questions because England does not represent Christianity. It represents a certain liberty. Okay? That liberty is personal liberty, and that's a good thing to have. That's natural. Allah Azza wa Jalla says you better have that liberty. Okay? This is why I'm just going to quickly go through this. This is what you guys are classifying yourself into. This is the split of you guys in Newcastle. You guys will see this split in Islamabad. You guys are going to see this split in New York. This is the split of the 3 Muslims sitting in this room. Now, more of you guys belong to this part. That's why आप लोग इस session में मौजूद हैं. But since you are in Newcastle, you were raised in Newcastle, you know this word liberal. पाकिस्तान में ये लफ्ज़ नहीं बोला जाता. पाकिस्तान में इस लफ्ज़ का कुछ और मतलब है. पाकिस्तान में इसकी एक फील लेके इसको काफिर करार दे दिया जाता है. Okay? That's why whenever you're going to hear or Mufti Menk or Dr. Israr or whatever, or you're going to see a hijabi or a guy with the beard, you're going to think he's this guy. And if you see a clean-shaven boy, you're going to think he's this guy, liberal. You're not going to see a hijabi or a girl with no hijabi, like, oh, he's a liberal kind of girl. Even though it does not mean, you should know what liberal actually means. Okay? When in England, most of the people are not Christians. Actually, England is the biggest atheistic country in the world right now. That's why your kids, when they go to school, they get exposure to a lot of thought process. That thought process is inviting the natural liberty that you should be able to think on your own and express on your own. And whatever question that you have coming from your own, you have to at least be able to ask that question. You have to have the liberty to ask that question. In Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh, we do not let that liberty. We call it blasphemy. कि ऐसा सवाल क्यों कर रहा है बच्चा? क्योंकि हम वो बरक़ात और हसनात के ट्रेन हुए इस्लाम में रहते हैं. So होता क्या है? When हमारा बच्चा कहता है, अम्मी अल्लाह को किसने बनाया है? All of a sudden we slap the child. Blasphemy. अल्लाह को कौन बना सकता है? इसके ऊपर शैतान आया है. कोई मेरे से सही काम नहीं हुए थे, ये शादी सही नहीं चल रही. ऐसे बच्चे पैदा हो रहे हैं. We start thinking on those lines, like literally. Even though that's the best question human beings can ask. Human child, if he's not going to ask this question, he's not going to answer this question. Next time, any guy who is going to go towards atheism is going to ask this question. And that's called personal liberty. But we think if the guy has no beard, he's a liberal. Liberal means he does not like God, he does not like Islam, he does not like the laws of Islam. This is the split. Okay, make sure you see yourself and classify yourself properly. Because I'm going to break all of these 3 spheres right in front of you. None of these 3 spheres are going to give you the right answers. Here, you're going to see the liberal Muslim who wants a lot of, because he's trained in England, he wants a lot of reforms. He wants to ask you or challenge the senselessness of the law, of regardless it's coming from Islamic world or the English world. He's going to try and challenge that. That's where new reforms are coming in every day inside the English legal system as well. Everybody thinks and they rationalize the law and they change it. We as Muslims are trained, no, we cannot change the law. We never question whether the law is coming from the Quran or not. If it is there, we're not going to change it. That's why in Pakistan, we do not change the law that often, even though most of the laws in Pakistan are from England. They're not from the Quran. Actually, most of the laws in Pakistan are anti-Islamic. They're not Islamic. But the conservative Muslims are never going to be able to challenge them. So all the changes and reforms in the Pakistani and Indian legal system are coming from the liberal flanks. They're clean-shaven, Harvard-educated, globally exported, or wherever they got educated from. They come in and they have to take the lead. And that's why those are the people in power, and that's why you always see a guy who's not going to be a practicing Muslim in power, because these are the guys who can make the sense out of the law or the lawlessness, and they create those sort of policies. You will never see a Maulvi or a hijaban in public policy in Pakistan, India, or Bangladesh. It's not a miracle. We are trained into it. That no, we're not going to touch it. That's the problem. So whenever there is a legal system of economics or family law or criminal law or whatever law that we are actually under all the time, you're not going to see any kind of change unless there is this flank active in the society. And when we send our kids to Cambridge or Oxford or whatever, they start questioning the very sanity of the laws or policies or systems. When we send them to madrasas or masjids or whatever, they start becoming rigid and they judge everybody who's questioning the law or the norm. This is the problem you and I are going to suffer in England or America or wherever we are. Now we are having babies who are these new age Muslims. They get liberty from England and emotionality from Islam. Or the Muslims, not Islam. And they get confused and they feel gunahgar by practicing their liberty. They feel as if they're crossing Islamic limits. They're not Islamic limits, they're Pakistani limits. They're supposed to cross all of those limits, but in Pakistan, India, they're tabooed, and that's why those kids are never going to gain the confidence in Islam. And that's why when you actually tell them to go to Islamic gatherings, try and do whatever you can for Islam, they'll be like, no, I'd rather stay in the public policy matters in England. I'd rather grow in the political matters of my current English space. I'm not going to move into the Muslim space because they never question, they cannot, कि अम्मी और अब्बू ने सिर्फ superstition दी थी, इस्लाम ने दिया था. I'll prove it to you right now in the next slide, you'll find out. Right now, you'll see all of your educated lot in England, from Cambridge or Harvard or what am I saying, Harvard all the time, or all of those high schools, high-end schools, they're never into the Muslim spaces. You see Mufti Manx and Dr. Isrars and Ghamdi Saabs and Maududi Saabs and Numan Ali Khans and Yasmeens and Farhat Hashmi, all of these people who are listening to them will have no change in the society. Okay, they're only working on their own selves. And all of the people who are changing in the society, making any change, they don't even know these names. इसलिए जब भी आपका बच्चा intellectually grow करना चाहता है, he naturally has to think and make a decision that if I go with mommy and daddy's heroes, I have to make a conscious choice of letting go of all of my career choices. I'm going to let go of all the power. And that's a natural desire or organic desire to be in those sort of spaces so that I can make the difference. And you know what we do? दिला से अपने आप को कि Muslim Islam आपकी spirituality को intact रखता है और King Charles आपकी politics को intact रखता है. नवाज शरीफ आपकी power को intact रख रहा है और Dr. Israr आपकी spirituality को. Are you kidding me? This is why Muslims cannot amount to anything. And all the Muslimish, non-Muslim type Muslims are amounting to everything. That's why the power will always remain in those kind of sectors in Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. Hasina will always remain in power. Ironic, her name is Hasina. And Nawaz Sharif will always remain in power. And all the Maulvis, all the, madrasa kids will always remain nothing, nobodies. Just doing this, azkars, and bowing down to these kind of people. That's the thing that I want to change. Islam is pushing us towards there because we're not going to go there because it feels too liberal. Or we cannot get this. And we start judging our kids, literally, our own daughters and sons. Oh, yeah, ye sahi Musliman nahi nikal. Mujhe tarbiyat nahi ho saki. Even though he's going to be twice the Muslim, 10 times the Muslim, if he takes the power and changes the definition of the career. ये है वो मसला जिसकी वजह से ये नए नए कंफ्यूजन के बबल्स बन गए हमारे घरों में. This is the word I am here to teach properly as Muslims. Who knows the meaning of this word, secularism? Secular. Anybody? Newcastle, yes sir. The separation of the, yeah. Now in Pakistan, you know what that secularism ka matlab kar lete hain? You know what they mean when they use this word secularism? No, yeah, closer to ilhad. Yeah, atheism, closer. They think atheism is secularism. They think literally that if you're secular, you don't believe in God. And it is written the way it is atheism. Even though I just explained to you all the current doctrine of Islam right now that they're teaching us is teaching us secularism. This conservative Muslim is never going to go into power or law or policy. Hence, he's secular because he's leaving the power to the statesmen and religion to the masjid. He thinks, oh, masjid is all about kalma, namaz, roza, zakat, hajj. That's it. And the power is for Nawaz Sharif, Zardari and Imran Khan. This is why most of your kids are going to feel un-Islamic or non-Muslim if they go into statesmanship or policy making or public change or politics. And I need your kids to go into politics right now. Islam needs Muslim hijabi politicians. Islam needs those Quran experts going into public matters and changing the world right now, arguing from the Quran and from the global political matters, from the realms of science, technology and theology. But no, हमारा Muslim बच्चा theology में जाएगा, zero knowledge of science or policy or politics. And England has given your kids some other wings. In England, your kids are trained into politics. That's why I say GUARY बंद करें, खुदा का वास्ता England की politics में डालें अपने बच्चों को. और वो ballot box politics की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं. Go into public policy making. Who's the mayor here in Newcastle? Who's the MP? Yeah, ये मसला है ना. See? Muslims are not going to know the real things. नवाज शरीफ बनने वाला है, इलेक्शन पाकिस्तान में 8 को हैं, इमरान खान को 24 साल की कैद हो गई है, लोकल एमपी का पता नहीं है आपको. This is the slide. This is why this is happening. अल्लाह के यहाँ तुक्के नहीं है, मैं बता रहा हूँ. किसी वजह से आपको इंग्लैंड भेजा है अल्लाह ने. ये बारियस के लिए और अमीरस के लिए कि the sheep bearers take the charge now, right here. You know who's calling the shots in the Pakistan election? कौन करवा रहा है अगला? You know who that guy is? Who are those people? Who's going to run the new election in Pakistan in the 8th? USA. No, England. People in England are making sure who's going to run the next election. See, that's the problem. Why do you think I'm boasting about English Muslims here? The power comes from Pakistan, to Pakistan from England, not from Muslims, don't worry, but from England. This is why I need your kids coming into the right careers. Understand why I come everywhere with this slide. Come on. Coming. These are the people who are running the elections in America. Like literally, they call the shots of who's going to remain in power in America. Ye kya rabbis hain? Are they rabbis? Do they look like madrasa, with those sideburns? No. They are the right people for the right cause, doing the right thing with their own book. That's how change is done. That's the mu'mineen of their religion. These are as good as the Sahabas of Hazrat Musa in their own book. That's why, by the way, ये वाले सारे के सारे लोगों के बुजुर्गान अमेरिका गए थे. That's why they went to America. They don't care whether the British pound is 366 rupees or not. What they want is a single purpose. By the way, they're all from different parts of the world. They don't know each other. Now they know each other. They never knew each other before, but they knew one thing, and they all knew that every one of them knows that same thing, and that's why they're going to stick to it. But now I'm raising my daughter in England, and I don't even care कि और कितनी बच्चियां इंग्लैंड में क्या पढ़ रही हैं, कितने बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, उनके साथ मेरी बच्चे के क्या लिंक हो सकता है. आता हूं उसके ऊपर. That's my last hour. How to get it done. This and this. Oh, come on. Why is this slide skipping? These 37 people come together in the name of their own book. Our book is calling out for a way bigger and way deeper and way wider source of power. Their book does not say, وَأَعِدُّ لَهُمْ مَسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ. Our book says that. Muster up all of the power that you can. Otherwise, you're not a mu'min. That's our book. And they're chasing our book? Yeah, they're literally chasing our book. You know how I know? Their prime minister told us on record. She said, I'm not learning my defense strategy from, America or the Poland. I'm learning my defense strategy from your prophet. She slapped us all on the face and she said, your prophet taught me how to get prepared for whatever there's going to be an onslaught. The last thing he left for you guys was the 8 swords hanging in the Masjid al-Nabawi. She said that. I didn't say that. That's how change is done. That's how power is accumulated. And I'm not talking about military. I'm talking about politics. Pakistan की जितनी मर्जी political state और India की और बंगाल की बना लें हम, amounts to zero. People here, your kids here can call the shots. वो जो मर्जी कर लें, कोई power नहीं उनकी. 9th of October, where was your Chief of Army Staff? 9th of October, the most powerful man in Pakistan was in America, getting instructions. You need to see where power structures are. 4 people, 2 from England, 1 from France, 1 from America, came together. 4 people of these kinds, 4 human beings. 4 days later, they came together. 4 days later, $100 billion was sent to Israel. That's how power is done. 4 बंदे चाहिए होते हैं बस. अगर सारे के सारे मिल जाएं, you guys are 2 billion, mashallah. 1 billion Desi Muslims. And we're not even connected to each other. This is the beauty of when a purpose is set. That's how you're going to know why I'm actually here, why I actually long for you guys to come together, why I need you guys to understand how important this part of the slide is. This is your current Muslim split. I need you guys to understand these three people are not going to amount to anything. जितने मर्जी आप मुसलमानों के स्पीकर उठा के देख लें, आपके बच्चे खुद नॉन मुस्लिम स्पीकर से इन्फ्लुएंस हो रहे हैं. They don't show it to you, they hide it in front of you, or maybe they don't, but they are taking direct instructions because those speakers speak to our kids organically. It's a natural career coming into power, making the big change. We all need that career. We need to become the global change makers. We can do that. I'll tell you how it's done. All of us are going to come together. If some of us can come together, way bigger change can. वो 50 million है, 5 million है, in sitting in Tel Aviv, and they can make such a beautiful case study for us. We are 2 billion. Even if 1% of our kids come together, we can make 10 times the change. In Pakistan, India, and whatever. We cannot cry about Imran Khan in jail. We can get him out. पाकिस्तान से नहीं निकल सकता कोई ऐसा. आपके बच्चों में से निकलेगा इधर, बिकॉज वो प्लेटफॉर्म पाकिस्तान में होता ही नहीं, वो सिर्फ इंग्लैंड में या फ्रांस में या अमेरिका में पड़ा हुआ है. ये इन 3 मुल्कों के अंदर पावर स्ट्रक्चर ऐसे क्रिएट हो चुके हुए हैं जिसमें अगर आपके बच्चे ट्रेन हो गए, दैट्स इट, जॉब डन. इनके सरों में सींग नहीं निकले होते. ये किसी स्पेशल मेरिट के ऊपर नेपोटिज्म पे नहीं जाते. ये यहूदी अपनी परफॉर्मेंस के ऊपर पावर में आए हैं. सो हियर यू गो. सबसे पहले तो ये चेंज करें कि क्या इस्लाम पावर के अंदर लाता है आपको? जी, इस्लाम कहता है पावर में लॉ मेकर तुम हो, क्योंकि अल्लाह का लॉ तुम्हारे पास आया था. You are not going to let Nawaz Sharif or Zardari walk the street for the intent of making or being in power. No, you're supposed to be in power. You make the law. They're not going to make the law because they're always going to ask England to make the law. This is why you need to understand what is the 3 types of Muslims. These are your 3 types of Muslims. You're liberal, high potential Muslim. You're conservative, very high learned in Islam, very, educated in the Quran and Hadith Muslim. This guy does not know Quran and Hadith. This guy knows all the Quran and Hadith. This guy knows all the rational reasons and political realms and spaces. This guy knows the religious space. This is the baby. Okay? This guy is your child. And this is the 4th type of Muslim. This 4th type of Muslim clearly splits the definition of Islam. He clearly splits it. He says, listen, it's very clear that kalma, namaz, roza, zakat, hajj is not going to save Palestine. Quran actually, and the Prophet ﷺ actually started with the state of Medina. We need to create that sort of a power structure right here in the globe. I'll tell you where that structure is going to be created, don't worry. Unless we have the power, we're not going to be able to entice the law. So where is the power? In the seerah. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? That's the question that you all need, especially boys. What did the Prophet ﷺ do? First thing he did before entering Medina.
Before you go any forward, I have a question for the previous slide. I know you're trying to say that we should, put it break down, putting our kids towards the public sector, understanding the public, whatever it is, right? Where do we draw the line? For example,
Here's the line. This is the line.
The thing is, public sector, wherever we go, we push our kids to be on the position where they can make a change, where they can bring in some change in the society. Right?
Yeah.
हमारे उस तरफ push कर देते हैं, मगर policies here, especially in this country, for example, if I want to go in some public sector, I want to learn something, I want to bring a change. They have their own values. For example, a certain LGBTQ, stuff like this. So where you draw the line, आप अपने बच्चे को ये बताओ कि नहीं, this is not. They say this type of case, they will be pushed out right away.
Yeah, I know what Hamza Yusuf is going through. You know Hamza Yusuf, cross the everybody liked him unless, of course, LGBT thing happened, right? And all of a sudden, he has to be pro-LGBT because of his party. Okay. Now the Muslim community had a very negative sentiment against Hamza Yusuf. Yeah. Now listen, is LGBT a bigger problem or Gaza? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's just say Gaza is a temporary space, right? When Gaza is going to be solved, then there's going to be another problem, like Gaza. Okay. You need to see what is the bigger problem to solve. LGBT can only be solved by people in power. So we need to have people in power. Those are the people in power who are going to call the shots in Gaza. The cause is the fact that we have absolutely no people in the right places. No, you cannot be quiet about this. You're right. It's going to shatter your self-esteem. You're right. Oh, you have a clear choice. It's a good question. You know what? I'd rather go quiet on the back foot and not do anything about it because I think it is wrong. That's the choice. And the other choice is I have to cross the stream, get wet because I am in the stream, and then come into power and then stop wherever this water is coming from. You understand me? Those are the two choices. I'm not saying you should be pro-LGBT for a few years because you got to be in power. Like what?
Like, for example, they know our beliefs, they know what we believe, and they've always...
Oh, okay, no, I understand now. Okay, that's the question I'm going to answer right now. Don't worry. Now I know what you mean. See, if you were just one girl, let's just say there's Mariam. She goes through Cambridge. She comes into power. She comes into power means she starts practicing her career into public policy, and she becomes more of an activist. Okay, that's one. She's not going to be able to amount to anything. Nothing. She's got to buy. She's another Hamza Yusuf. But if there are different people popping up from different places or inside England, all of a sudden, they're going to assume you're lobbying even though you're not lobbying. You're rallying. Okay? I'm going to show you the solution in the other slide. There's a slide there. They're rallying. How is lobbying done? Well, the same kind of people with the same kind of purpose in more amount of numbers. That's called a lobby. And okay, I'll tell you, I'll use the right word for it. You know what a blockchain is? No, you haven't heard. The blockchain is when the right, in a certain system, by invite only certain number of people come together for whatever reason. That's called a blockchain. Well, I'm trying to create a Muslim blockchain. But you need Melbourne for that, you need New York for that, you need England for that. As long as all of these people are coming up together, you have yourself a blockchain. They're going to call it a lobby, we're going to call it a blockchain, even though they work the same way. Now, whenever we say, oh, you know what, Israel is going through this and that, what's going on? How is it even possible? Everybody says, oh, they got a strong lobby, man. Well, of course they have a lobby, even though they have 1% of our numbers. But they have 10 million times more the lobbies. I'll show you where the lobbies are. This is the lobbies. Here's their lobby. This is their lobby. This is page 1 of 329. Page 1 of 329. That's how you lobby. Unless you create these, yeah, you're right. One girl, one boy is not going to be able to. वो बेचारा मारा ही जाएगा. He has, but उसकी self-esteem shatter नहीं होगी. If anything, he's with a higher self-esteem. लड़ाई करते हुए मार रहा है ना. But he's not going to amount to anything. This is how you lobby. बताता हूँ ये क्या चीज़ है. Don't worry, I'll tell you what they are. But unless you create structures in Newcastle, Edinburgh, Glasgow, London, Leeds, or wherever, Bradford, ये वाले structures नहीं create. I'm sorry, you guys are not playing in a team. That's why after this session, we're going to, well, I hope you already have a group. All of these people are going to come into one group. And we're going to connect all the groups from everybody else. And we're going to say, you know what, here's everyone. Here's the family structure that we already have. Here, we all have the single common belief system. Now, we need to see what is the bigger problem to solve. And so many kids are coming together, so many people are coming together. Abhi Australia mein humne kiya na. It's a successful case study. Melbourne, Perth, Canberra, Sydney came together. Now everybody knows everybody. And now if they have the right intent, I don't need everybody in Australia. I need 1% of the Muslims in Australia. That's enough number to start the bigger change. And all of a sudden, you're the lobby. I don't call it a lobby because lobby is a smaller structure of power. Blockchain is a very big structure of power because I need 4 objectives from you. 4 objectives पूरे करने के लिए हमें blockchain create करनी ज़रूरी है. वो मैं बताता हूँ 4 structures क्या हैं, 4 चीज़ें क्या जो मुझे चाहिए. वो 4 चीज़ें आपको भी चाहिए अपने बच्चों से. Those 4 objectives are financial independence, political independence, moral independence, and mental independence. Unless you have a blockchain, you're not going to be able to get that. मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ आपको. 2 generations later, Baria's grandkids are not even going to call themselves Muslims. अगर हम इसी path पे चले जो आप चल रहे हैं. No amount of Muslim YouTube scholars are going to save them. Okay, belief system is at its worst right now. We are just licking our own beliefs, literally, because they're dying. Our great grandkids are not going to be able to remain Muslims. I'll tell you this right now. Because we do not have a structure. They knew this. They said Israel is not a country. It's a constitution. If it remains, Judaism remains. That's true. That's how belief is secured. We think we are Pakistan and India and whatever, and you see what's going on there. Pakistan is not going to save the Islam of the Pakistanis because Pakistan is not structured well. If anything, everybody wants to leave Pakistan because it doesn't represent anything. That's the problem. And I'm not just talking about Pakistan. It's the same for Indonesia or Bangladesh or whatever. I've lived in Indonesia for a few days just to see what's going on. You can't even tell the difference between a Muslim or a non-Muslim there because depleting. Pakistan में तो फिर emotional लोग हैं ना, आ जाते हैं इस तरह करते. So there is a reason. This is basic psychology. So coming back to here, this is your current model of Islam. That's why your kids are not going to follow anything in England which Islam has to offer because Islam currently offers your rituals and routines. ईद के चांद पे मसले तो नमाज पढ़ लो बस, रोजे रख लो, ठीक है, I get it. उसके बगैर तो हम मुसलमान ही नहीं हैं. You're not a Muslim if you're not praying. But that is not Islam. Islam starts from the prayer, doesn't end at the prayer. We've ended Islam at the prayer. But that's all. And then individual focus, only you. Tazkiyah, apna bas. You know what, don't do the wrong thing, or just do the right things, okay. And then your personal aqidah. And any and every scholar that you're ever going to listen to are going to talk about these 3 things only. He's not ever going to talk about thought leadership. Every single child of yours, every single one in England is thriving and listening and consuming all the content of the thought leaders. None of them is a Muslim. You go through your children's cell phones and tablets and go through the YouTube and, all of the content they're consuming, 90% of them are thought leaders. None of them is a Muslim. That means it's a natural demand. No Muslim is servicing it. Number 2, global change. Are you kidding me? Muslims are anti-global change. They only have a Muslim ummah only. Whatever, even if children are dying in Brazil or Africa or whatever, that's nothing to do with Islam. And all of these people who are thought leaders, they start with the global perspective. That's why it's so attractive. It makes common sense. That's the bigger problem. You want to save Gaza, you got to save a lot of Africa as well. That's a common sense thing. That's why their people are listened to by our kids way more than our own selves. And then public policy, this is not possible. We are not. We leave to Caesar unto whatever is for Caesar. The politicians are going to take care of this. Islam ka siyasat se koi taluk nahi hai. Okay? When Umar Sulaiman walks the LGBTQ, he says, you know what? This is for inclusion. I'm not a politician. When Mufti Menk sits with the Israelis in the Gulf and has dinner on iftar or whatever, he said, hey, I'm not a politician. Don't talk about politics with me. I do not know. When we talk about this with Numan Ali Khan, or what are you doing with the Orlando shooting? Yeah, I do not claim, I do not know why Muslims start claiming as soon as they become Muslims, they become politicians. Politics is not our subject. Well, what else is? I mean, this is exactly our subject. We need to be in the legislation, otherwise they will be, and we will have to follow their law. That is as simple as I can tell you. So current Islam stays here. This is the line. As soon as you cross this line, you're not going to remain Muslim. And your kids are crossing this line every single day. They need to, and they better. And in Muslims, in these flanks, in group transformation, in public policy, I need Muslims. Everybody needs Muslims there. In political reforms, if a Muslim is not going to make a career here, someone else is gonna, and I will have to abide by his political thought process. This is why, yes?
But those scholars are going through the Sira teachers these days.
Really? How? Tell me how.
I'm not saying in that way, but they're teaching the Prophet life. So that's the whole life is an example. You also saying you need to listen to Sira and everything.
No, I'll tell you. It's a good question. There's a reason why current version of Islam cannot go there. They think and they believe that a regular citizen going here in the name of Islam is called khuruj. It's called khuruj. Well, how do you do public reforms? You criticize your government, right? That's freedom, that's liberty. If you cannot criticize your ulul amr, that's called khuruj. And my question to all these Pakistanis are that ये हाफिज साहब जिसका पूरा नाम ही नहीं मुझे याद आता अल्लाह की तरफ से, चीफ ऑफ आर्मी, इसको क्रिटिसाइज करना इस्लाम में मना है? Like really? What Islam was taught to us? कि इसको क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे तो हम जहन्नुम के कुत्ते हो जाएंगे. This is what is being taught in the masjid in Pakistan. Proper scholars की बात बता रहा हूँ. प्रॉपर स्कॉलर्स मुझे खारजी पता क्यों कह रहे हैं कि मैंने चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ को या फिर नवाज शरीफ को उसके टाइम पे इमरान खान को क्रिटिसाइज क्यों किया है, उलुल अमर को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करते. दैट्स कॉल्ड सेक्युलरिज्म, राइट? दैट्स व्हाई आई से करंट इस्लाम इज मोर सेक्युलर. करंट इस्लाम जो इन्होंने दिया है वे मोर सेक्युलर देन एनी काइंड ऑफ स्कॉलर ऑफ द बाइबल जहां से ये ले रहे हैं. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. दिस इज व्हाई इंग्लैंड आना था आपको, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में ये फ्रीडम नहीं था. इंग्लैंड आए, इंग्लैंड में आप किसी को भी चैलेंज कर सकते हैं पॉलिसी में, इस्लाम में भी कर सकते थे. सिर्फ ये जो करंट वर्जन ऑफ इस्लाम है इसमें नहीं कर सकते. वरना हज़रत सलमान फारसी ने खड़े होकर हज़रत उमर से कहा कि ये तेरे जिस्म 7 फुट के ऊपर इतनी चादर कैसे फिट आ गई है, मेरे पे तो नहीं आई 5 फुट 9 इंच पे. ये क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं है. हज़रत उमर खत्ताब ने क्या कहा ऑन हिज लास्ट डेज, दैट इफ यू सी कि तुम्हारा अमीरुल मोमिनीन, तुम्हारा अमीर दुनिया की तरफ टिल्ट हो रहा है तो क्या करोगे? आपकी गर्दन होगी और हमारी तलवार होगी या अमीरुल मोमिनीन. दैट्स व्हाट द सहाबी सेड. एंड यू नो व्हाट उमर खत्ताब सेड? आई एम लीविंग इस्लाम इन द राइट हैंड्स. और इन्होंने क्या कहा? जो मोहम्मद बिन सलमान ने कह दिया बस उसके खिलाफ कोई बात करोगे कत्ल फर्ज है आपके ऊपर, बिकॉज आप खारजी है. दिस इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व. आप मत करें. बाय द वे इसका भी तोड़ निकाल लिया मैंने, टेंशन न लें. अगर आप इंग्लैंड के मुसलमान इंग्लैंड से पावर एग्जर्ट करते हैं पाकिस्तान पे, तो इस्लाम के इस डेफिनेशन में भी वो खरूज नहीं है. इस्लाम की इस डेफिनेशन में, ये 2 नंबर डेफिनेशन बनाई, इसमें भी खरूज तब होगा ना पाकिस्तान के अंदर से कोई काम करेगा. बाहर से कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज आप पाकिस्तान के सिटीजन नहीं इंग्लैंड के सिटीजन होकर पावर लगा रहे. ये इनके अकीदे हैं इस वक्त. This is why I'm sick of this. इसीलिए मुसलमान are not going to amount to anything because they think मरना इस्लाम है. चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ के अंदर मर जाना इस्लाम है, क्योंकि हमें मस्जिदों के खुतबे चल रहे हैं कराची में कि सीरियंस पे अल्लाह की लानत आई हुई है इस वक्त. जो ये बच्चे उनके मर रहे हैं अल्लाह की लानत है, क्योंकि ये अपने हुक्मरान के खिलाफ इन्होंने चैलेंज किया था. This is the problem your kids can solve. By what? By playing the right tunes of power in England, in America, and things are going to change in Pakistan. That's the only way to fix the Indian Muslims or the Bengali Muslims or the Pakistani Muslims or the Arabian Muslims. ये खरूज भी नहीं है उनकी डेफिनेशन में भी. If anything, वो इन्हीं के तो ताबे हैं. असल में तो अमेरिका उलुल अमर पाकिस्तान का तो कम ऑन, हु आर वी किडिंग? अगर इसी डेफिनेशन पे आना है तो सही बात करते हैं ना फिर. सो दिस इज व्हाई दे कैन नॉट टीच यू थॉट लीडरशिप. दे विल टेल यू हाउ टू रिप्रोड्यूस द थॉट. इस्लाम में नकल किया करो, इस्लाम में अकल ना किया करो. दैट्स व्हाट दे गोना टीच यू, एंड दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम. ये रूल ऑफ थंब है मदरसे का. इस्लाम में अकल नहीं है, इस्लाम में नकल है. हालांकि अल्लाह कुरान में कह रहा है अफला याकिलून, अल्लाह कह रहा है यतफक्करून तदब्बरून. नो, इस्लाम में नकल है. ये तो अल्लाह ने नहीं लिखा, अल्लाह ने तो उल्टा लिखा हुआ है. अल्लाह ने तो कहा अकल लगानी जरूरी है, मगर नहीं, हमने लीडरशिप की थॉट लीडरशिप नहीं लेके आए. वी आर नॉट गोना डू दैट, सॉरी. वी विल बी खारजी अगर हम इफ वी डू दैट. This is being trained, indoctrinated, ingrained inside our blood vessels. That's why you do not see the madrasa or the masjid moving towards the global or political change in Pakistan or India or Bangladesh or Arabia. That's why you see Imam Kaaba launching the grand cinema in Jeddah. Have you not seen that? Imam Kaaba has launched a new cinema where Salman Khan and the first movie was being launched. Really? And people were like, what are you doing? And he said, I had to choose between being a Kharji or this. So I chose the lesser evil. Really? That's the way you're going to run Islam now. See, this is why I'm saying, unless we put the right things in the right place, क्या होगा वरना? This is what's going to happen. ये होगा आपके बच्चों के साथ. This is what your kids are going to go through. They're going to go through, first and foremost, your kids are going to go through confused value system. England is going to be giving them power, liberty, politics. Islam is going to be like, no, nothing. They're going to need politics. They're going to need power. And Islam is stopping them. All of a sudden, they'll be like, you know what? It doesn't make any sense to me. Muslims are being butchered, and Islam is telling me, don't do anything. आपके समझ में 57 कंट्रीज पैलेस्टीन के ऊपर क्यों नहीं कुछ कह रही? बिकॉज अवाम जो है जोश मार रही है और उलुल अमर हमारे चुप हैं. और उलुल अमर के ऊपर उलमा के फतवा दे रहे हैं कि अच्छा हुस्न जन रखो, कोई ना कोई मसला होगा इनको. आप थोड़ी होते हैं उन अवानों में जहां पे पॉलिटिकल डीलिंग होती है. ये उलमा फतवा दे रहे हैं. लाइक जो भी हुस्न जन रखूं, एंड में तो मेरी लाखों बच्चियां मर गई ना फलस्तीन की. कितना हुस्न जन रखूं मैं? और कल इंग्लैंड में ये वाला मामला होगा तब भी ये वाला हुस्न जन रखूं. नो, यू नो व्हाट, इंग्लैंड इज गोना कम एंड सेव यू. सो एवरी मुस्लिम चाइल्ड विल लाइक, यू नो व्हाट, आई वुड रादर बी इंग्लिश than this kind of Muslim man, that it saves my daughter. It saves my son. It saves my daughter of getting raped or being butchered literally by bombs. Now, yeah, it makes a lot more common sense and Islamic sense, except Pakistani sense or Indian sense. That's why our kids are going to be like, I'd rather be a liberal than your conservatives with the hijabi, because you're actually making slaves more than anything else. This is why I'm telling you this, that you and I both have to understand how Allah Azza wa Jal splits the people. Allah Azza wa Jal says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min az-zulumati ila nur. That Allah, when you are under the protection of Allah, that means wali. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min az-zulumati ila nur. When Allah is, you're going to be under the protection of Allah, He is going to take you out of the darkness into the light. And when you're going to be under the protection of Taghut, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَوْلِيَاؤُهُمُ الطَّاغُوتُ يُخْرِجُونَهُم مِّنَ النُّورِ إِلَى الظُّلُمَاتِ. Taghut is going to take you from the light to the darkness. Now the problem is, all of your educated English lot who are in a Muslim session, the problem is you haven't even heard the word Taghut, let alone know it. Haven't even heard it. That's the one word Allah Azza wa Jalla says it's the biggest possible sin. And Muslims haven't even heard it. And whoever has heard it is going to know a wrong meaning of it. Who's heard it? What is Taghut? People who are not in my last session. See, everyone in Islam calls himself a Muslim, knows what is shirk, but nobody knows what is Taghut. You think it's a fluke? No, it's not a fluke. The biggest sin in Islam is Taghut. No one has heard it. Someone is behind it. I'll tell you why, because that is what Taghut is. Allah has used this word so many times, and so clearly and simply. So simply that not even a single hadith you'll ever read is on Taghut. Prophet ﷺ never spoke about Taghut because Allah Azza wa Jal spoke about it so many times and so clearly. If anybody had asked, Prophet ﷺ used to recite these ayahs. This is how big Taghut is. That, here you go. I'm going to tell you what Allah Azza wa Jal said. And I'm going to do the same. And Allah says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu, which means under the protection of Allah, or wallazina kafaru awliyahum taghut. Same word, yet under the protection of Taghut. What is Taghut? Taghut is simple. Taghut is the law. Taghut is the law. If Allah is making the law, it is Islam. If someone else is making the law, it is Taghut. That's called Taghut. So all the laws have to be coming from direct Allah or the Prophet. That's it. That's Islam. Anyone else wants to make a new law in Islam or wherever, which is going to affect the lives of human beings, that's Taghut. This, in other words, in England you call it, oh, he's playing God. Playing God in Islam is called Taghut. That's the meaning of this word. Allah, now you understand the ayah. I'm going to recite it again. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu, when Allah is going to protect you. I'm coming to you. Yukhrijuhum, He takes you out. Minal zulumat, from the darkness. Ilan nur, towards the light. And wallazina kafaru, oh, and those who are under the protection, awliyahum taghut, some other law, they're coming up with making new laws to protect their own selves. The route is the exact opposite, from the light to the darkness. And once you understand this classification, then you understand this simple diagram. That's why I'm here. For the 3,000 years of Abrahamic religions, we never entered Taghut. Understand why I spoke about self-esteem, okay? Understand why I spoke about you guys migrating here. Understand these things now. This age of enlightenment and this world war, and then the self-esteem. What happened in the age of enlightenment? Of course, you've all read about this. In this very country, it happened. It happened to kill more people in one war than all the wars combined in all of the recent 100 years, including the World War. We killed millions of people. Some say 30 million people. We butchered every human being in Europe. Now we are Europeans, because this war was from the Europeans against the Bible. They butchered every Christian. So much so that the Protestant princess was not even allowed in England to go to church because she has lost the war. The war was from the free thinkers, the liberals, against the church. It's called the Great War. It went on for 30 years. Read about it. 30 years, human beings started killing each other in the name of the Bible or liberalism. That please save us from this tyranny of the Pope or the priest. He comes and collects the tax, he makes the laws, and those laws don't make sense. That's why you see so many people of philosophy in Europe, because they wrote against all of whatever is going on. They started writing how to make laws, from Nietzsche to Hume to Descartes to Kant to Rousseau to Dostoevsky, all of these people, all this time was a reaction to the church. Because the law that came from the Bible did not make sense. So who lost the war? The Bible lost the war, whatever version that was being run. And then came the world wars. The world wars happened. Muslims were against the English. Turkey was with the Germans. So all of a sudden, you can see the split of the world after the world wars. Those countries who were the allies, they are inside whoever won the war. They're in the superior society now. And whoever lost the war, they are in the inferior society with low self-esteem now. It's common sense. The victor always practices high self-esteem and the loser loses the self-esteem. जितने भी मुसलमान हैं, उनकी self-esteem World War II के बाद से zero है. All the Muslims. We had one country, Mr. Winston Churchill in this very country drew the lines on the map, and now we have 57 countries. Now Munira says she's from Oman. She doesn't say I'm from, she doesn't say I'm from the Muslim land. She says I'm from Oman. Somebody says they're from Mauritania or Morocco or Sudan or Libya or whatever. Otherwise, it was just one country. It was in England that they drew line. Why? Because we lost the war. Whoever wins the war takes the higher chunk or the higher pedestal in the self-esteem. This is called the superior society. That's why Germany is such an amazing case study, because they're the ones who actually lost the war, but they reconstructed their self-esteem. By what? By performance. Germany is the actual country that actually lost the war. We were just the allies of Germany. They should have been shattered, and they were. Did they rebuild? Of course they built. How? They came together. Are there 2 billion people believing in the Bible? No. We are that lot. We are 2 billion people believing in the Quran. And we're still not coming together. They got their self-esteem back? Yes. Did we? No. By the way, Germany is still paying, every German citizen is still paying the compensation tax for the Holocaust. Still, everyday job. That's how superior psychology is done. That's why I'm saying, it's your kids I need. So, why am I showing you these 2 spheres, the blue and the red? Before this happened, all the law was made by the divine literature, the Quran or the Bible or the Torah. Most of the world, the law. After these events, the Quran doesn't make the law, even Islamic Jamhuriya Pakistan, no, it doesn't. Okay? The Bible doesn't make the law even in England, where the patron is the Church of England, is the Queen, the King now. No, the King James Bible does not set the law in England now. So, the law, when it was divine, the biggest sin was shirk. Makes sense. But now, since we don't even have the law, the biggest sin is not shirk. The biggest sin becomes taghut. Because now we've changed the law. We make our own laws now. That's what Allah is saying. Now you'll understand. You want to do your own? Well, then I'm not going to protect you. This is self-made, self-serving. This is self-centered. That's why when I teach my daughter the meaning of prosperity, जो कि मैंने आपको slide दिखाई थी, you know what she thinks? She thinks self-centered, self-serving, my job, my money, my career, my cars, my family, my wife, my kids. This is why you cannot benefit from my career. And I cannot benefit whether you're being prosperous or not. That's the only difference between the Jews and everyone else in the world. They are not defining the career based on this. They are defining the career based on the Torah. We are defining careers and whatever, because we are inside a man-made legislation era. This is the new era. This started about 350 years ago. Now we're in the center of that era. That's why all of this Muslim diaspora is towards the superior societies, because Muslims lost the war. फातेह का राज होगा ही होगा, मफ्तू ने इत्तबा करनी ही करनी है. अल्लाह ने कहा था मेरी इत्तबा करना, हमने इत्तबा करनी है. जो भी पॉलिटिकल वर्थ, फाइनेंशियल वर्थ और व्हाटएवर, जहाँ पे भी जो भी लॉ मेकर्स, अब इंग्लैंड का लॉ मेकर जो भी है, डजंट मैटर, दे वांट द वॉर. अब उसके लॉ के ताबे आना है. मैं आया हूं पैसों के लिए, लॉ के लिए नहीं. बात मैं इसलिए यहां से निकला था पाकिस्तान से, बिकॉज वहां पे लॉ था ही नहीं. वहां पे अगर इस्लाम का लॉ होता मैं वाकई ना निकलता, बिकॉज पता जाता फिर नवाज शरीफ को. फिर मुझे वहां पे रह के तसल्ली होनी थी. सो दिस इज व्हाई आई नीड योर किड्स, बिकॉज वंस यू आर गॉड सर्विंग, वंस यू आर गॉड मेड, यू अंडरस्टैंड अल्लाह ने बनाया, अल्लाह ही के लिए है और अल्लाह ही पे डिपेंडेंट है, और वी रिटर्न एवरीथिंग टू अल्लाह. जो कि आपके लिए मुफ्ती बैंक कर रहा है, जो कि यास्मीन मुजाहिद कर रही है, जो कि फरहत हाशमी कर, यहां तक दे ट्रीट आवर किड्स रियली वेल. वो वैल्यूज वहां से लेनी है, अकीदा दुरुस्त बताते हैं लोग. ओके, देयर मोरल कंटेंट इज करेक्ट. ये आपने लेना है इनसे, चाहे वो गामदी साहब हो, चाहे वो जो भी हो. ऑल ऑफ दीज आर सेइंग है अल्लाह की तरफ जाओ, अल्लाह ही पे लौटाओ. ओके, वो लॉ की बात नहीं कर रहे, बस बाकी सारी बातें दुरुस्त कर, वो तो लेनी है हमने. अब 4 साल के बच्चे को तो मैं तागूत और लीगल सिस्टम में नहीं बताऊंगा ना, उसको तो अकीदा दुरुस्त कराऊं, वहां तक आपने लेना है. बच्चा पहले 10 साल के अंदर सही से रेज हो गया, उसके बाद वो पॉलिटिकल पावर में आएगा तो अपनी रिग्रेशन में अपने अकीदे को इन्वोक करेगा. वो बचपन में अकीदा आपका, ये लोग सारे स्कॉलर्स दुरुस्त बता रहे होते. यूज देम, बट दैट्स ऑल दे गुड फॉर, बट दे आर गुड फॉर द बेसिक्स, वेरी क्लियर. यूज देम एंड देन bring them here. After their 15th year, they better bring back the law. और वो कैसे आएगा? इंग्लैंड से नहीं. इंग्लैंड में आपने इस्लाम नाफिज करना है, नहीं, इंग्लैंड से इस्लाम नाफिज करना है, अमेरिका से इस्लाम नाफिज करना है. क्योंकि अमेरिका से तौरात नाफिज हो रही है, हो इसराइल में रही है, मगर अमेरिका से हो रही है. Okay, England से हो रही है. I just found out that the biggest Jewish diaspora is in Newcastle after Israel. They're right here. They know the value of being here. ये तो नहीं गए इसराइल. Because they know the value of being here. And I know the value of being here. I need your kids here. I need your kids in power here. I need your kids in power in France or in New York or in, Germany. These 4 or 5 places, or in Canada now. Now, not 5 years ago, now. We need Muslims coming into power in the right places. Because in the next 30 years, every sane Muslim has plotted कि MBS के बाद, कौन MBS के बाद? Who's going to come after MBS? You're not doing the right maths. You need to know the problems of the Muslim world. उर्दगान के बाद कौन है अगला? You have to come up and अपनी foresight develop करें. आपके बच्चों ने उर्दगान नहीं देखना, आपके बच्चों ने MBS नहीं देखना, उस बच्चे ने MBS के बाद वाला बंदा देखना. He better understand कि इसका यहाँ पे करियर, वो वहाँ पे कौन सी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करेगा. एंड बाय द वे, वो सारे के सारे इंग्लैंड से इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. वो कर पर्सनल करियर्स के ऊपर रहे हैं, पैसों के लिए कर रहे हैं, मगर वो इंग्लैंड से ही सऊदी अरब और गल्फ में सारे के सारे मुसलमान आ रहे. हमें we're going to pay you 10 times more dirhams, come on. बिकॉज आप कॉम्पिटेंस आपकी ज्यादा है, आपकी क्रेडिबिलिटी ज्यादा है. सो ये है आपका करंट डेफिनेशन ऑफ इस्लाम. इसको चेंज करें इनटू ये वैल्यूज दे रहा है, ये बिहेवियर दे रहा है और ये रिचुअल दे रहा है. वैल्यूज लें, जरूर लें, मुफ्ती बैंक से लें या यासिर काजी से लें, जिससे मर्जी. या राइट वैल्यूज, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो. और उससे बिहेवियर ले, यस लें, बिहेवियर भी लें, तमीज, इखलाक, शाइस्तगी, मैनरिज्म लें इनसे. वो तो आप मैनरिज्म तो खैर आप इंग्लैंड से भी ले सकते हैं, उसमें क्या है. द क्रिश्चियन चर्च इज गिविंग वेरी गुड मैनरिज्म, जहां मर्जी से लें. योर किड्स आर नॉट जनरली बदतमीज इन इंग्लैंड. एक्चुअली पाकिस्तानी बदतमीज होते हैं, इंग्लैंड में तो दे ट्रीट यू वे बेटर मैनरिज्म देन द पाकिस्तानीज. ओके, ले. एंड देन रिचुअल्स आप इस्लाम के ही लेंगे. लोगों को पता हो मैं नमाज पढ़नी है, मैंने ईद के ऊपर क्या करना है, कुर्बानी कैसे करनी है, हलाल क्या होता है, all of our rituals, रोजा कैसे रखना है, all of our rituals. But it is not going to create anything except आपका बच्चा moral relativism में जाएगा, right and wrong की definitions mix कर रहा होगा, और इसलिए आपको ये वाले fractures नजर आएंगे कि वो बहुत अजीब और गरीब selfish किस्म की एक body बनना शुरू हो जाएगा. He is going to have relationship issues because all of those people are not going to be all of आपकी मदरसा ट्रेन नहीं मिलेंगे, लोकल से शादियां करनी उसने, and he is going to have very big relationship issues with parents and children because rituals, beliefs and values के अंदर ये वाली modulation सिखाई नहीं जा सकती. I'm sorry, that's not possible. That's why Muslim divorce rate is also going high, even though जिस तरीके की इनकी तालीम है उसके बाद तो divorce rate कम होनी चाहिए थी. But no, they're not establishing them around the rims. ये issues around the rims से आ रहे होते हैं. Central की तो अकीदे जितने मर्जी हो, आप भी सुन्नी हैं, मैं भी सुन्नी, शादी तो हमारा तो काम हो जाना चाहिए था. No, Muslim divorce rates are going to go high. Muslim parental abuse is going to go high. Runaway kids are going to go high. Suicide rate is going to go high because हमारी central definition of Islam are not going to suffice for the real problems we are suffering from as a community. Because individual सिखाई जा रहे हो सारे कि आप अकेले क्या कर सकते हैं, as a group कोई आप में से इसको सिखा नहीं रहा. इसलिए आपको सबसे पहले ideal current definition change करके इस पे आना पड़ेगा. Make sure आपको scholars नहीं मिलेंगे, ये parent as a अम्मी as a अब्बू करना पड़ेगा, आपको as a community करना पड़ेगा. ये वाला सेशन साहिल अदीम की वजह से हो रहा है, आपको अगला सेशन किसी खतीजा की वजह से अटेंड करना पड़ेगा, किसी अली या अब्दुल्ला की वजह से आना पड़ेगा कि भाई हमारे बच्चों ने मिलना है. This better be a town hall meeting in Newcastle at least once a month. We're only going to pay 10, 20, 30 quids. But we're here so that our kids can come together and know each other. We should know कि इस फलां बंदे के कितने बच्चे हैं, उनको क्या इश्यूज हैं, करियर में मैं कैसे हेल्प कर सकता हूँ. क्यों? क्योंकि मेरे बच्चों को वहां से हेल्प मिलनी. That's how community is made. Through cities and town halls, knowing with a purpose. ये है वो purpose. If your purpose is not ready, in the top, आपके behavior or rituals will become a curse. You will think you are a jannati, even though you will be the cancer. You will be the reason why Muslims are going to be suffering for whatever they're suffering. And this is the reason right now. I am the reason why Gaza is going through whatever it's going through. Because I think I will have a career and that's going to suffice for nothing. So we start with the purpose and then we go into attributes. As soon as we set the purpose right, list of attributes सामने आती है. जितनी भी अम्मियाँ बैठी हुई हैं और अब्बू बैठे हुए, all of them have the same question कि parenting के ऊपर end in mind क्या रखना है मैंने? Where do I take my child? What is the ideal parenting model? वो कहाँ से आता है? Simple. वो आता है list of attributes से. कौन-कौन से attributes होने चाहिए एक इंसान के अंदर? वो develop करने में कुछ में 10 साल लगते हैं. Sometimes it takes 20 years, some 5, some 2, some can be developed in a year. But we need to know the attributes. Those attributes are not trained by the Muslim scholarship. They are trained by Christian scholarship. They are trained really well, by the way. I haven't heard a rabbi talking about this, so I do not know. But I heard Christian scholarship talking about the attributes. Not all of them. We require more. And unless you have a purpose clearly defined, तब तक attributes आ नहीं सकते, because attributes come from a purpose. So if I have to go to South Africa or Antarctica, I would know what I require. If I have to go to New York, I require different things. My purpose defines the kind of attributes I need in a child. So if I have a right purpose, I will have a list of attributes. And if I have the list of attributes, all the people of the same purpose will have the same list of requirements. That's why I need all of us to come together. And your kids are going to develop those attributes in my kids, and my kids are going to develop them in yours. Because most of those attributes which are required by Muslims are not individual attributes. They are community attributes. They are from a group, as a team. And this is something only a purpose statement can get you. Now, I'm going to guarantee this, and it's a shameful thing that someone can guarantee this about me as well in Pakistan, that if we have a same city, I'll guarantee that most of you guys had never even met each other. Even though you cross the streets with each other, you have the same law upon each other, you have the same weather, you have the same problems, you have the same emotionality about Islam and Palestine. So things are going wrong, but you never met together to solve a problem कि हमारे बच्चों के सामने ये वाला सीन नहीं होना चाहिए. Because we're all individually focused. We will have the big cars and the big houses. We will never have a big community. And that's the problem. Now who's going to solve the problem? You are going to solve the problem. You're going to host the next meeting. कम लोग आएंगे मगर आपका काम हो जाएगा. क्यों? Because आपको देख के फिर ये करेंगे अगला, उसके देख के वो करेंगे. No one's doing it और हर बंदा एक दूसरे के इंतजार में. अकेले खड़े हो के भी लेक्चर दिए मैंने भी, मेरे अहबाब ने भी. ये खैर है, कोई बात नहीं, शुरू करना जरूरी है. इंग्लैंड का आपको मैं वाक्य सुनाता हूँ. My own best friend's father, he's English, actually Pakistani English. He in London, I don't know what city he's on. The first masjid in that city was made by these three guys, three doctors, and they said, इस बेंच पे मिलेंगे रोज, चाहे बर्फ पड़ी हो चाहे गर्मी हो, इस बेंच पे शाम को मिलना रोज है. तीनों जब इकट्ठे होंगे एक दूसरे को तकवीयत देंगे. 3 years they didn't stop meeting each other once a week, every week, and they built the first masjid. First time the azan was, heard in that city, and now probably it is the biggest masjid in that part of the area. I do not know which that area is, but that's I'm talking about the 60s or even maybe 50s. So he's Amir in the Jamaat Islami, so he was quoting this to me that unless some people come together and make a commitment, nothing's going to happen. Now that's true. Allah Ta'ala, Nabi Islam ने कहा, Allah का हाथ जमात के हाथ पे. हम जमात में हो ही नहीं रहे कभी. हम जमात को जमात इस्लामी समझते हैं या तबलीगी जमात समझते हैं. न्यू कैसल की ये जमात, अल्लाह का हाथ जमात पे, इसका ये मतलब था कि अकेले अकेले आपके बच्चे नहीं बचने वाले. आई गारंटी यू. LGBT नहीं होंगे तो एथिस्ट हो जाएंगे, एथिस्ट नहीं होंगे तो कल कोई और चीज आने वाली है. ओके, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. आप लोग इकट्ठे होंगे, योर किड्स आर गोना अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू नो व्हाट, दिस इज अ फैमिली. एंड मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी में ज्यादा सेफ तो कम्युनिटी वैसे भी इकट्ठी गैदरिंग नहीं होती. कोई ना आदमी औरतों को तंग करता है ना औरतें आदमियों को. वो तो हम घरों में जाके एक दूसरे को तंग करते हैं. My kids need you and your kids as much as you need me and my kids. But अकेले अकेले मैं अपने करियर में रहूंगा, काम नहीं होने वाला. So this is why this is your ultimate 4-pillar strategy. इनमें से 2 मैंने तफसील से बताई हैं, एक आपके बाकी के स्कॉलर तफसील से बताते हैं. Number 1, here you go, sorry. This is it. First and foremost, moral capital is from mommy and daddy, and whatever book and scholarship that currently exists, they're really doing a good job. You guys are morally correct people. I believe in you. Inshallah, I actually believe that you guys are way more morally correct than I am, because it takes a lot of training from the first 5, 7, 8, 10 years for a child to become morally correct, and that's a testament to mother and father. But पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल मामी एंड डैडी नहीं दे सकते, वो पॉलिटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव दे सकते हैं. कैपिटल लेने के लिए एजुकेशन, क्रेडिबिलिटी, टाइम इन द राइट प्लेसेस, एफर्ट, राइटिंग आर्टिकल्स, राइटिंग बुक्स, बीइंग इन प्लेसेस, बीइंग एक्टिव एज अ कम्युनिटी. एवरीबॉडी गेट्स टू नो ईच अदर, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ ऑल पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल का मतलब होता है मेरी नेटवर्क कितनी बड़ी है. आई एंड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल इन माय शूज are going to give you that network. I'm going to make your child global. I promise you. That's my commitment. How? We're connecting everybody. Your child, this little girl, how old are you? You're 14, 15. In next 5 years, you can make changes in New York. I will provide you New Yorkers. I will provide you the Houston Muslim community. You will have to connect with them. And now this is the technology era. You're already connected anyway. Mark Zuckerberg is way more powerful than Barack Obama because he's got the network. That's how change is done. That's what political capital is. But if your kids are not even understanding the way these spaces are created, he'll be like, oh, मैं अपनी selfie लगा दूं, अपने कपड़े दिखा दूं, अपना खाना बता दूं कैसा बनाता हूं या बनाती हूं, or whatever. Rules are the same. Purpose is different. Game is the same.
outputs are different. That's why इंग्लैंड में बैठ के इंग्लैंड की पॉलिसी चेंज करने के लिए आपको कनाडा से और अमेरिका से इंस्टेंट हेल्प मिल जाएगी, बिकॉज दे डू इट एवरी डे. इवन इंग्लिश मुस्लिम्स डू इट एवरी डे, इंग्लिश citizens. Pakistani, they never do it actually. If anything, public policy change जो पाकिस्तानी कर रहे हैं वो कौन से कर रहे हैं? वो LGBT का लॉ और बिल पास करवा रहे हैं, वो शीरी मजारी टाइप लोग, you know. और नए से नए बिल इस तरीके के प्रेजेंट होते रहते. I get it. उनका काम है ये. I like आसमा जहांगीर, I like शीरी मजारी. You know why? जिस बिलीफ मॉडल पे उस पे एक्टिव है. हम लोग मुसलमान अल्लाह रसूल करते रहते हैं और एक्टिविटी जीरो है हमारी. पॉलिटिक्स उनको हमसे बेहतर आ गई है. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, हम उमर बिन खत्ताब और अली बिन अबी तालिब के मानने वाले हैं. इनसे बड़े पॉलिटिशियंस नहीं गुजरे, इनके करियर अभी भी चमक रहे. हमारे बच्चे अभी भी अली और उमर रखे जाते हैं. इवन आसमा जहांगीर ने भी आसमा नाम रखा था अबू बकर की बेटी पे. द रियल पॉलिटिशियन अबू बकर सिद्दीक. मगर नहीं, वो हमने कहा नहीं, वो तो मेरा बच्चा तो खारजी हो जाएगा. ऐसे नहीं होगा खारजी. आपने बिगर चेंज क्रिएट करनी है. ये वाला क्लस्टर आपको चाहिए. That's why I went to LSE and I said, I'm going to give you 50,000 Muslims. What can you do about this? Amazing answers. पाकिस्तान में इस सवाल करता हूं तो पता है क्या, 50,000 बंदे दूंगा. सर मैं पाकिस्तान का इलेक्शन लड़ूंगा अगर सारे लाहौर में हुए तब. इमेजिन किस तरीके के नवाज शरीफ इमरान खान ट्रेन हुए हैं. इनको पॉलिटिक्स का मतलब ही नहीं समझ आ रहा. दे डोंट इवन नो कि क्या पावर मिल रही है इनको. दिस इज व्हाई आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू. अल्लाह अज़्ज़ा व जल सेज कि भैया लॉ बहुत आसान है. बाइबल में भी यही लॉ है. बाय द वे बाइबल में लॉ तो ऐसे लिखा हुआ है, गॉड हेल्प्स. Let me quote you the Bible, okay? This is Allah Azza wa Jalla saying that if you're not going to do it yourself, I'm not going to do it for you. That's the rule. If you're not going to move yourself, I'm not going to move towards you. If you're not going to make that structure yourself, I'm not going to help you enforce that structure. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawm hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. That I'm not going to change those people who don't change themselves. It's not about a man. Because Allah does not help the people who do not change themselves. That means it's a given that you have to become people first. Come into a group. If you're not coming into a group or a community, you don't even qualify as a Muslim. And this is why I'm going to show you this, which is going to give you a perspective. पहले भी मैंने आपको नक्शे दिखाए हैं. Look at this map. This is a testament. This is a case study. I'm trying to honor them. Make sure you understand this. This is how small the community is, how split they are. Their diaspora is way bigger than ours because of the ratio of इतने थोड़े से हैं वो. हम लोग पूरी दुनिया में छाए हुए हैं इस वक्त. ओवरसीज की बात बता रहा हूँ. वो खास जगहों पे हैं. वो शुरू में एक ही जगह पे थे, खास जगह देख के गए वो. Then what happened? Look at what happened. This is their current situation. Only this part of the world likes them, and this part of the world likes them. And these are the part of the world you can't even name. They don't matter. This is Japan, by the way, okay? And this is the current state. This is the global sentiment analysis. Everybody hates them. Muslims do not have these numbers. Abhi dikhata hu aapko Muslims numbers. I want to show you the exact study for Muslims. This is what their numbers are. Imagine if Muslims had this sort of a calamity upon them. Isko kehte hain maghdubi alayhim. This is the meaning of maghdubi alayhim. जब कौम पे गजब आता है पूरी दुनिया ऐसे उनको धुतकारती है. But did they give up? No, they didn't give up. You know what they did? They did this. They did this. First they did this. These are started by small town halls in Newcastle. And now Newcastle has the most amount of Jewish community other than Israel. Starting with a small town hall, like this meeting. Okay, and now they're all over the world. As I told you, 329 pages worth of just titles of what organization? More than $1 million worth. बाकी तो विकिपीडिया पे आएंगे इन्हें 6 बंदे इकट्ठे मिल जाएं तो. That's not Wikipedia worthy. Look at this. Why? People with a purpose come together. That's how change is done. That's why I'm saying आप born politicians हैं. कोई बता नहीं रहा आपको. हम कुरान के थ्रू एनर्जी लेके सवाब के थ्रू पॉलिटिक्स करते हैं. एवरी एलिमेंट ऑफ माई माइग्रेशन एंड माई मैं टैक्सी भी चला रहा हूँ ना तब भी मुझे सवाब हो रहा है क्योंकि मेरा पर्पस क्लियर हुआ है. आई एम अ सोल्जर ऑल ऑफ अ सडन. एक सेकंड मेरी लाइफ का सवाब में गुजर रहा है मगर पर्पस हम सेट कर नहीं रहे, इंडिविजुअल खेल रहे हैं. एंड देन व्हाट डिड दे डू? दे केम टुगेदर एंड सेड भैया बात सुन, व्हाटएवर मिस्टर हर्टल इज सेइंग इट मेक्स सेंस, वी गॉट टू सेंट्रलाइज दिस. लॉन्ग टर्म स्ट्रेटजी. That's what they did. They said, पहले तो बच्चे तैयार करो. बच्चे तैयार किए इन्होंने. It took them 40 years and they won all of the global. मैं महावरतन कह रहा हूँ, not all, but according to the ratio, 22% of all Nobel Prize goes to one family. मामू के बच्चे तो नहीं है ना, किसी की फूफा के बच्चे. No, on merit. They performed. Every Nobel Prize winner that you know of worthy in sciences, natural, is a Jew. Perform कर रहा है वो. पर लगे हुए नहीं होते उसके पैदा होता है. Parental focus, community centered, purpose aligned. खुद ही उसको पता चलता है भाई ये काम करना है. So मेरा प्रोफेसर था, खुद यहूदी था. He said, it is not the Jews that are making Israel. It is Israel that's making the Jews. पावर की बात कर रहा था. हम इसराइल को नहीं पावर दे रहे, इसराइल हमें पावर देता है. पर्पस एक बार क्लियर हो जाए, पावर खुद ही एट्रीब्यूट्स बनते हैं फिर आपके. इट इज सो सिंपल. यही जिना का बाय द वे पाकिस्तान के बारे में बात थी, बट यू नो वी डिड. सो मुस्लिम को कैसे नोबेल प्राइज मिलता है? मुंह पे गोली खा लो, नोबेल प्राइज मिलता है. दिस इज नॉट हाउ चेंज इज डन. Being a victim? No. Being the change maker. What is a Fields Medal? Muslims don't even know what a Fields Medal is. Fields Medal is the Nobel Prize of Mathematics. The highest rank in mathematics is Fields Medal. You know what a Fields Medal? जब मिलता है ना आपको तो उसका प्रूफ देने के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है कि मुझे वाकई मिला है? एक मुसलमान के सामने खड़े होकर तस्वीर खिंचानी पड़ती है, क्योंकि वो मुसलमान जो है ना वो फादर ऑफ मैथमेटिक्स है, उसका नाम अल-ख्वारिज़मी है. तो वो यहूदी भी हो ना या क्रिश्चियन भी हो, पहले वो मुसलमान के सामने लाया जाता है, उसकी तस्वीर के सामने इसको कैमरे में तस्वीर आती है. दैट्स फील्ड्स मेडल. और हम में से एक भी जानता भी नहीं है कि फील्ड्स मेडल क्या होता है. दीज आर द पीपल हु आर राइटिंग द रॉकेट साइंस इक्वेशंस. दैट्स व्हाट योर फिजिक्स क्वेश्चन वाज. ये है वो लोग जो असल में फिजिक्स में जाए. क्यों? They knew real definition of progress. ऐसे नहीं आनी प्रोग्रेस, काम करना पड़ेगा. और आपके बच्चों को इंग्लैंड काम करवा देगा. पाकिस्तान में जो मर्जी जिस मर्जी यूनिवर्सिटी से चले जाए, फील्ड्स मेडल वर्दी क्रेडिबिलिटी स्टैंडर्ड ही नहीं है यूनिवर्सिटी का. इंग्लैंड में हर कोने पे पड़ी हुई है वो. That's why we sent you to England. Come on, get your babies in the right order. I need them. Every Muslim needs them. And then this is, ये जो मैंने आपको दिखाया था, ये स्लाइड, ये इसका क्या फायदा होता है? ये फायदा होता है, ये देखिए, ये इसका फायदा. Right people connected together, single purpose, right places. Now आपको पता चलेगा कितनी बड़ी बात है कि टोटल 4 बंदे चले हैं, एक मीटिंग की है, $100 बिलियन इसराइल को मिल गए. क्यों? क्योंकि वो 4 बंदे सही जगह पे डेवलप किए गए थे. सही रिफॉर्म्स और सही क्रेडिबिलिटी और सही नॉलेज के साथ अपना लोहा मनवा चुके हुए थे वो पहले. ऐसे रेगुलरली 4 दोस्त नहीं चले. Those people are known as the biggest, most important intellectuals. पब्लिक पॉलिसी के यूएन के 18-19 चार्टर लिख चुके हैं लोग. हर दफा जो मुंह खोलते हैं कोई ना कोई मुल्क अपनी फॉरेन पॉलिसी चेंज कर लेता है. और कितनी उम्र है उन सब की? मैक्सिमम एज 55, मिनिमम एज 29. उन चारों की। You think it's a joke? No, it's not a joke. एक नस्ल ने काम किया, दूसरी नस्ल डिविडेंड्स दे रही। इसलिए आपसे कह रहा था, पाकिस्तानियों, इंडियंस, आपकी पिछली नस्ल ने पक्की खा ली है, सब कुछ छोड़ के आए थे, आपको उन्होंने प्लेटफॉर्म दिया। अगर आपने भी ना किया तो फिर ठीक है, फिर हम भी चंदा ज़कात ही करेंगे। वो तो नहीं कर रहे, वो दुनिया को रूल आई मीन दे डूइंग द राइट थिंग। 1% मुसलमान ऐसे कर रहे होते, हम इनको सहाबा के दर्जे में बिठाया होता हमने। Just because it's not us, we're biased. I am not. They're doing the right thing. That's how change is done. So, अब आपको ये स्लाइड समझ आएगी। जब मैं आपसे कह रहा था, इस स्लाइड का मतलब ये 4 कैपिटल कैसे बनाने हैं? उनका मोरल कैपिटल जो भी है तौरात से आ रहा है, गैरेट, उन्होंने पर्पस अलाइन कर लिया। मेंटल कैपिटल जी, उनके सारे फील्ड्स मेडल और नोबेल प्राइज से समझ आ रहा है कि भाई एक नस्ल लगती है, एक नस्ल पहले इनके पास कोई नोबेल प्राइज नहीं था। 1900s के बाद, 1940s के हॉलोकॉस्ट के बाद नोबेल प्राइज शुरू हुए इनके। इमेजिन करें, इतना लंबा काम नहीं है ये। 500 साल स्ट्रेटजी नहीं बता रहा हूं मैं आपको, ये बच्ची बैठी हुई है। वी कैन प्रिपेयर हर राइट नाउ। पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल, ये बच्ची बैठी हुई है, पर अभी प्रिपेयर हो जाएगी। इट इज दैट सिंपल, बट कंसिस्टेंसी, पर्पस अलाइन हो, कंसिस्टेंसी एंड एवरीवन टुगेदर। आपको पूरी दुनिया के हर बड़े शहर के मुसलमान प्रेजेंट करना मेरा काम है, मगर पर्पस अलाइन तो नहीं मैं आपका कर सकता, वो तो आपको खुद ही करना पड़ेगा। I cannot go inside your minds and hearts and bring you in these kind of halls or whatever halls every once in a month. And I cannot do that. You got to do it on your own. Look at your own children. If you cannot look at your own children, it's okay. Look at the children of Gaza. Do it for them at least. You got to do it. Otherwise, they're doing it for their own children. वो अपने बच्चे बचा गए हैं उसी इलाके में, हम अपने बच्चे नहीं बचा सकते उसी इलाके में। They knew, वो भी तौरात के लिए बचा, हम कुरान के लिए थे। नहीं, उन्होंने अपनी किताब उठा ली, हमने नहीं उठाई। So, can I go to the next slide? The slide show, slide deck. Here you go. It's okay. We're good. Now you will understand. This is why I didn't finish this. We were here. Now look at these. Look at this slide. This is why I came to Newcastle. You know what this is? This is the future of every human being that will matter in any kind of change-worthy people who are listening, जिनको सुना जाएगा, जिनकी बात मानी जाएगी, वो इधर से आएंगे। वो ये लोग हैं। पाकिस्तान? No. India? No. Bangladesh? No. इंग्लैंड? यस। मसला ये जो ब्लू डॉट्स आए हैं ना अमेरिका और इंग्लैंड पे, इनमें से एक भी मुसलमान नहीं है। दैट्स व्हाई आई एम क्राइंग। कि फायदा क्या हुआ आपकी कुर्बानियों का? आपकी अगली नस्ल इधर क्यों नहीं रजिस्टर हुई अभी तक? दैट्स व्हाई वी सेंट यू टू इंग्लैंड। इधर डॉट्स लेके आओ अपने। एनीवन हु इज गोना मेक एनी काइंड ऑफ चेंज आर दीज डॉट्स, because this is the new professorship in the 20, 30, 20, 40, 2045. यहां ये रजिस्टर हो गए। This is the current landscape. कौन है आप में से अपने बच्चे को इस मैप के ऊपर तैयार कर रहा है? इसको छोड़े, ये असली मैप। This is your tree. How are we choosing the career lines on career paths of our kids? पैसे किस में ज्यादा हैं? सोचें जरा। मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, इस्लाम आपसे कह रहा है कॉम्पिटेंट हो जाओ। ये है वाइदुल्लाहुम्मा इस्तताअतुम मिन कुव्वा। This is what Islam is saying. Come into the power. This is the map of putting your kids in the right streams. This is the power map, literally the power map in the next 30 years. We are not even looking at our own kids with sincerity. That's what I'm saying. Because if we were akhira oriented, we would know कि अपने बच्चे को कितना बड़ा करियर दे सकता था मैं. This is just an output of the last 30 years of the same map. इसका आउटपुट क्या है? ये आया, और इनका आउटपुट ऐसे आता है, ये, जिसकी वजह से हमारी अगली नस्लें वीजे की लाइन में बैठी हुई हैं इस वक्त इस्लामाबाद में और दिल्ली में और ढाका में. क्यों? ये हो गया. ऐसे होता कैसे? ऐसे होता है. हमें क्या बताया गया? बस हमें क्या पता कैसे होता है? बस ऐसे ये हो गया ना, हमें बस ये चाहिए. इसका 1% दे दो. ये असल में ऐसे होता है, इसके अलावा कोई और फार्मूला नहीं है इसका, जिसने हमारे होते होते तीन अलग अलग कौमों ने, 3 नस्लों ने कर दिया. हमने कोई नया फार्मूला निकाला कि शायद इंग्लैंड जाएंगे तो बारिश शुरू हो जाएगी, कोई ऐसी पॉलिसी आ जाएगी कि हर नए इमिग्रेंट को कोई वेलफेयर की परसेंटेज डबल कर दो. दिस इज नॉट ना, दिस इज ट्रिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट, generated by certain amount of companies, or most of those companies are not even close to being Muslim. That's the problem. That's where the money flows. यहां से उठते हैं हम लोग फिर और यहां की तरफ सफर करते हैं. ये है आपके रिजल्ट्स. Prosperity, career, whatever, money, affluence, whatever you want to call it, that you think you're going to pivot yourself and your kids, and you're thinking, oh, मैं बहुत ही अच्छा बाप हूं, मैंने तो नस्लों के लिए सिक्योर कर दिया अपना, अब मैं मर भी जाऊं तो फिक्र ना करो, मेरा काम हो गया. You think that was the job of a father? That's not a Muslim father. और मैं आपको बताऊं, हम सबका यही वो है क्रीडो. हम सब अपनी सेल्फ एस्टीम अकेले में ऐसे सेटल करते हैं कि मेरे बाद मेरी बीवी बच्चे सिक्योर होकर दी, मेरा काम हो गया. As a man, we all know, they don't know how we think, we know how we think. We are measuring our manhood's worth based on the security that we give, financial security, to our wives and kids. That's not how manhood should be measured in Islam. It's not. सारे तो नबी हमारे गरीब थे, उन्होंने तो नहीं सोचा मेरे मरने के बाद बीवियों को क्या होगा, साहबा ने तो नहीं सोचा. और अभी तक हम मुसलमान हैं किस वजह से? उनकी वजह से, जिन्होंने अपने करियर्स को पैसे से अटैच नहीं किया हुआ था. हमने क्या किया हुआ है? हमारे अपने बच्चे, I promise you, as men I'm talking to you, our kids are not even going to remember our names because हमने सिर्फ पैसा दिया उनको. That's it. जैसे कि मैंने अपने दादे के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं बताया अपने बच्चे को, मुझे पता ही नहीं है. What was the man all about except घर बना के दिया बाप को. You think that's the worth of a man? Sorry, no, it's not. And all of your love and your compassion and your empathy as a woman that you're giving to your kids, I'm sorry, unless you tie it to a purpose, आपसे बहुत बेहतर मुसलमान औरत से बहुत बेहतर परफॉर्म कर रही है एम्पैथी में क्रिश्चियन लड़की. आपको ही पता है, अक्रॉस द स्ट्रीट अभी जाए, रास्ते में गुजरेगी तो सॉरी थैंक यू से कम बात नहीं करेगी, गिरेगा कोई तो सबसे पहले क्रिश्चियन आके बचाएगी आपको. चोरी नहीं करेगी, अपनी तरफ से अपनी कुर्बानी देकर अपना हाथ काट के देगी. You and I both know what I'm talking about. You guys are with the English. I was raised by the Irish. मुसलमानों में इससे ज्यादा मुसलमान सारे मिला लें, इनकी एम्पैथी नहीं है, क्रिश्चियंस की एम्पैथी है. गिव क्रेडिट वेयर क्रेडिट इज ड्यू. इनके कल्चर में एम्पैथी एंड गिविंग एंड सेल्फ सैक्रिफाइस हमसे बहुत ज्यादा है. हम जितनी मर्जी अपनी चैरिटी को गिनते रहते हैं और नापते रहते हैं, इंडिविजुअल लेवल के ऊपर वी आर नॉट ट्रेन्ड. आई होप एवरीथिंग सो राइट. ओह, इट्स जस्ट अ मशीन. It's just a machine, don't worry. So, that's how rallying is done. Make sure you understand. I'm going to give you this slide. Everyone's going to get the slide deck in the WhatsApp group, don't worry. Okay? I'm going to skip this for now. This is what I wanted you to know. This is the actual data of what Newcastle non-Muslims are saying about Newcastle Muslims, and Newcastle Muslims are saying about Newcastle non-Muslims. Look at this. In America, in Germany, in France, in Spain, in Britain, this is you. Okay? And the way they are perceiving us versus them us perceiving them. Imagine, we are designed to counter each other. Design हमारी ट्रेनिंग हुई, उनकी भी हुई है, हमारी वजह से उनकी हुई है या उनकी वजह से हमारी, doesn't matter now. This is called integration. No, this is the reverse of integration. When we ask them, when we ask the non-Muslims here in the English non-Muslims, that do you think Muslims are supercharged particles? As soon as you touch them, they're going to blow? Yeah, they say, yeah, most of them. They're so full of ego and they're always full of contempt. Supercharged, all high strung. Okay, well, at least we have ego. Are we going to channel it? ये भी खत्म हो जाएगा, बता दूं अगली नस्ल में. We're going to be inclusive of everything. RME शुरू हो गया स्कॉटलैंड में, ज़्यादा दूर नहीं है क्लास को. You know what RME is, right? Okay, look it up in the schools. You cannot make your own Muslim son or daughter a Muslim anymore. The school is going to decide of what other choices of kids are going to be presented. आ रहे हैं जल्दी जल्दी. It's coming very soon. So, this is something, okay, I want to make sure you see this. Now, I told you the 4 pillars. This is 2023. Tell me a picture you see who represents at least 2, if not 3, forget 4. At least 2 of the 4 pillars. That's the problem we'll have to solve from our kids, through our kids. Unless we have our kids placed right, वरना यही हरकतें और शक्लें निकलेंगी अगली नस्लों में भी. किसी को किसी के बाप की वजह से पॉलिटिकल कैपिटल मिल गया है, सिर्फ इसलिए कि उस घर में पैदा हुआ था. वो बेशक आपकी फुटबॉल टीम खरीद ले, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. किसी को बहुत शौक है अपने आप को अमीरुल मोमिनीन कहलवाने का और खिलाफत का, और 100 साल के लिए 2024 में पैट कर रहा था उर्दगान कि हम वापस ले लेंगे खिलाफा, ठीक है. और जब अक्टूबर पे हमला हुआ तो सबसे पहले इस भाई साहब ने कहा नो 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 नो, हमारा कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है कि गजा में क्या हो रहा है. बर्मा के मुसलमानों के लिए इसको स्पीड दे रहे थे क्योंकि उस वक्त इसका डिसीजन पेंडिंग था. अब चूंकि पक्की मिल गई है सीट इसको, इसलिए खैर है. That's what I'm saying. It's not just about Pakistan or Bangladesh. It's about Islam and the definitions. Some of the names I don't even want to name because, they actually represent the exact opposite of why I'm here. But you should see that 4 different pillars. एक मुसलमान बच्चा तैयार करना है. बस न्यूकासल से अगर एक भी तैयार हो गया ना, तो ह्यूस्टन से 2 कर रहे हैं हम, मेलबर्न से 3 कर लेंगे हम, न्यूयॉर्क से 4 कर लेंगे हम. आपका शहर छोटा है. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, हर घर से एक बच्चा तैयार होना चाहिए. मैं कह रहा हूं एक शहर से एक बच्चा तैयार करें. That's all we need. We need those spaces filled because I swear to you, आप नहीं तैयार कर रहे हैं, कोई ना कोई करेगा ही करेगा. जहाँ नमाज खाली होती है, इमाम खुद ही आ रहा था, कोई ना कोई इमामत के लिए कोई ना कोई आएगा ही आएगा. इस नेचुरल ऑर्गेनिक ऑर्डर कि कोई तो लीड पे आए. तो इस वक्त तक समैंथा और पीटरसन नहीं कर रहे, आप अपना मुसलमान मोहम्मद अली नहीं करेंगे तो वो आएगा ही आएगा. वो तो कॉमन सेंस की बात है. फिर मत कहिएगा कि वो गुस्सा के बाद सर आप इस्लामाबाद में भी शुरू हो गया. जी वो हम खुद करवा रहे हैं. और यही सवाल होना है आखिरत में हमसे कि तुम्हें इंग्लैंड किस लिए भेजा था, आप क्या समझ रहे हैं. इसका सवाल नहीं होना आपसे. 25 करोड़ बंदे पाकिस्तान में और 25 बांग्लादेश में तरस रहे हैं कि न्यूकासल में कैसे आप लोगों को अल्लाह ने पहुंचा दिए. यू थिंक यू नॉट गोना बी क्वेश्चनड. दिस इज अ रिसोर्स यू गॉट. अबू ज़र गफारी ने नबी सलाम और अबू बकर सिद्दीक उनके घर गए हुए थे, तो एक मटका पानी का हमसाए की खजूर का दरख्त था, उसकी छाँव अबू ज़र गफारी के सहन में गिरती थी. अबू ज़र गफारी ने मटका उसकी छाँव में रखा होता था, छाँव उनके सहन में थी अबू ज़र गफारी के. प्रॉफेट सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को पानी पिलाया तो नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने कहा पानी ठंडा कैसे किया है. तो अबू ज़र गफारी ने कहा या रसूलल्लाह, वो जो साया है ना, उसमें मैंने मटका रख दिया। फर्स्ट में देखा ऐसे और खजूर का दरख्त देखा और अबू जर गफारी से कहा, ओ अबू जर, you will be questioned for this, you know that, right? This is a gift because you didn't do anything about it. It was done by nature. You will be questioned. Did you got this resource? Did you do anything for this? Now you tell me. Did you make the English Constitution? No. Did you make the political worth of England? No. Did you raise the GBP's forex rate? No. You just got it. You are just receiving it. You will be questioned. Did you put it to the right use? Or did you just feed off of it like a pest? You need to understand that we need Islam. Islam doesn't need us. Make sure you understand that. Allah Azza wa Jal says, here, I'm going to end this. Allah Azza wa Jal says that if, Surah Muhammad, if you're not going to pick up and fulfill the promise that you gave me to Muslims, then I'm going to replace you with people who are better than you. अल्लाह की यहाँ कौमों की थोड़ नहीं है। इस्लाम को नहीं हमारी जरूरत, हमें इस्लाम की जरूरत है। मेक श्योर यू अंडरस्टैंड। और पाकिस्तानी मुसलमान मौलवी योगी से, मैं कहता हूँ ना फौलवी, बस वो योगी पर में चला गया, साधु बन जाऊं मैं। उनको दरख्तों से बांधो, अच्छे मोमिन बन जाएंगे वो, क्योंकि गुनाह भी नहीं करेंगे और नमाजें पूरी पढ़ लेंगे। आप लोगों को अल्लाह ताला ने ताकत दी है। आई स्वेयर टू यू, ऑल ऑफ द ओवरसीज मुस्लिम्स, स्पेशली इंग्लिश मुस्लिम्स, आपसे सवाल नहीं होगा तो और किससे सवाल होगा? किस चीज का? उस ताकत का। क्या आप लोग अभी अपनी खेल रहे आए थे इधर? सॉरी, दिस इज नॉट हाउ इट्स गोना वर्क। आपकी जरूरत किसको है? मेरे बच्चों को कराची में, मियाँ वाली में। और मैं फिर बता दूं, अगर उनको ना बिल्ड किया हमने, यहाँ पे टके की वैल्यू नहीं है हमारी। बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे आप इंडियन, बंगाली, पाकिस्तानी हैं। अगर अपनी रेट वैल्यू ऊपर करनी है तो उधर की रेट वैल्यू ऊपर जानी जरूरी है। हम जो मर्जी कर लें, we are who we are. We need to raise the value of the local. गोरा अमेरिका से पाकिस्तान आता है ना तो वो गोरा ही रहता है, क्योंकि अमेरिका की ब्रांड वर्थ कैश कर रहा होता है। वहां पे बेशक होमलेस हो न्यूयॉर्क का, न्यूयॉर्क का होमलेस भी इस्लामाबाद में पूजा की जा रही होती है उसकी, बिकॉज अमेरिका इज बैकिंग इट अप। हमें पाकिस्तान, इंडिया और बंगाल बैक अप नहीं कर रहा। क्यों? वो हमारा वेट करे, ताकत हमारे पास थी और हम सोच रहे हैं हाँ शुक्र है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बचत हो गई, नवाज शरीफ से बच के इधर आ गए। नहीं नहीं, अल्लाह से बच के नहीं कहीं जा सकते। अल्लाह ने इधर रखा हुआ है। शाबाश, ये गारा। और फिर मैं आपको बताऊं, किसी को कंफ्यूजन ना हो, मैं आपको पाकिस्तान जाने के लिए नहीं कह रहा हूं। पाकिस्तान जाएंगे ऐसे आपको चरखे की तरह काटेंगे, पता भी नहीं चलेगा। यही तो चेंज करना है हमने। यहां पे बैठ के चेंज होगा। यहां पे बैठ के आई स्वेयर, आपका अपना बेटा मेक श्योर कर सकता है कि बिलावल प्राइम मिनिस्टर ना बने या मरियम नवाज प्राइम मिनिस्टर ना बने। आपका बेटा और आपकी बेटी यहां पे बैठ के डिसाइड कर सकते हैं। वहां पे बैठ के भुगतेंगे खाली और वो बनवाएंगे इनको। और मैं बिलावल और मरियम की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, यू नो व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट। आई हैव अ वेरी बिगर ऑब्जेक्टिव। तो मुझे इनसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ये अभी हैं नहीं है, ये तो कल पता नहीं क्या होंगे। इन्होंने तो क्या मजहब भी बदले, इनका कुछ पईद नहीं। The real thing is, way bigger problems are coming our way. And only you guys are here. इसलिए आपसे पूछा था, नबी इस्लाम ने मक्का से हिजरत करते हुए किससे राब्ता किया? जी, उकबा के सहाबा से राब्ता किया। 11 सहाबा आए और उन्होंने कहा हम आपको मदीना देते हैं। we own मदीना, here you go. बदर के सहाबा लोअर रैंक के सहाबी हैं इस्लाम में। उकबा के सहाबी बदर के सहाबा से भी ऊपर हैं। वो कौन थे? वो आप जैसे रैंक्स में थे। उनके पास रिसोर्सेज थी, पॉलिटिकल पावर थी। एंड दे सेड वी प्रेजेंट टू यू मदीना। तब कहीं जाके नबी इस्लाम मदीना गए थे। दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, इस्लाम इस वक्त आपकी तरफ देख रहा है कि आर यू गोना परफॉर्म और नॉट। फिर मैं आपको बता दूं, इस्लाम को आपकी जरूरत नहीं है। आपने ना किया, अल्लाह ने कहा मैं किसी और से करा लूंगा। ये ना हो फिर कोई और ही कौम हो, ये ना वो मुसलमान ही ना हो। अल्लाह को क्या, वमा यअलमु जुनूद रब्बिकुम, हमें क्या पता अल्लाह का फौजी किधर है। सो आप अपने बच्चों से बड़े काम ले सकते हैं। इसलिए ये बरकत की लाइफ से निकले और ताकत की लाइफ में आए। एंड मेक श्योर आपके बच्चे ही ताकत की लाइफ में आए। वरना आपका बच्चा किसी की ताकत की लाइफ का फॉडर भी बन सकता है, चारा। क्यों? A nobody is a fuel for the gun of somebody. Okay, I hope everybody is clear. This whole slide decks I will give to Shabnam आपको, आप अपने ग्रुप में ये slide decks दे दीजिएगा. Any questions now, please, I'm open. कुछ और चीज़ें जो मैंने कवर स्लाइड में बहुत सारी होंगी, मैंने वो कवर कर दी हुई हैं. आप स्लाइड देख देखेंगे तो आपके सामने नहीं आने दी मैंने स्लाइड, बट आप कवर्ड इट. ओके, जी पेरेंटिंग के क्वेश्चन मैं एंड में लेता हूँ. आई नो यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ पेरेंटिंग क्वेश्चंस. एनीथिंग फ्रॉम दिस? यस सर.
स्लाइड पे एक दिखा रहे थे जिसमें रिचुअल के बारे में.
कौन सा स्लाइड मुझे बताएं, मैं तो चला जाता हूँ.
यहाँ पे वो रिचुअल के बारे में बात हो रही थी और उसके बारे में. तो असल में हमारा स्पेशली इस मुल्क में हमारा ये मसला है कि जहाँ की जो लोकल पावरफुल या हुकूमती हल्के हैं, आप स्लाइड की तरफ
No, I got it. Thanks.
मेरे ख्याल इससे पहले वाला.
Okay, thanks. Oh yeah, thanks.
जी ये पहले आप ये मैं उसके बारे में आपसे कह रहा था कि जैसे आपने रिचुअल की बात की है, तो रिचुअल की तो इस मुल्क में हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. हमें कोई नहीं रोकता कि हम मसाजिद कितने बनाएं. आप ब्रेडफोर्ड में जाएंगे तकरीबन हर गली में एक मस्जिद बनाएं. और ना ही कोई रोजे और नमाज से रोकता है. जो मेन हमारी प्रॉब्लम ये है, जैसे आपने फरमाया था ताऊत, जिसके बारे में अल्लाह ने भी कुरान पाक में फरमाया है कि ताऊत से जो लड़ना है, अब वो ताऊत से कैसे लड़ेंगे? कि अगर आप ताऊत से लड़ेंगे पाकिस्तान में, तो आपको खारजी कहेंगे.
ट्रू. नो, यहाँ पे बैठ के बहुत अच्छा सवाल है. तो ओके, व्हाट टू डू? ताऊत इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम. हाउ डू वी एक्चुअली एस्टैब्लिश कि ताऊत को काउंटर किया जाए? गुड, दैट्स द बेसिक क्वेश्चन. पाकिस्तान में रह के आप पाकिस्तान के लॉ को चैलेंज नहीं कर सकते इस्लामिकली, मगर इंग्लैंड में बैठ के आप पाकिस्तान का लॉ 10 दफ़ा बना सकते हैं, और वो खरूज नहीं है. इस्लाम उनके वाले इस्लाम में भी असल में तो है भी नहीं. ठीक है, याद रखिएगा, खरूज तब होता है जब अपने लोकल गवर्नर को चैलेंज करते हैं. यमन में बैठ के आप सऊदी अरब को जो मर्जी करें, खरूज नहीं है, क्योंकि यमनियों ने मोहम्मद बिन सलमान की बैत नहीं की हुई. यहाँ पे बैठ के आप जो मर्जी करें पाकिस्तान के साथ. No, listen, most of the people, that's why I keep an eye on this slide. So this slide is your key. Make sure ताकि आपकी confusion clear हो. This is the key. ये लोग अमेरिका में बैठे हुए, they never leave America, but they make sure all the changes are done very well done in Israel. That's what I want. They don't break the law of America. They're not breaking any law in America. If anything, if they broke any law, in position भी ना होते वो. They knew कि भाई हमें इसके, और ये भी कोशर फूड खाते हैं, हराम नहीं खाते. ये नाइट क्लब में नहीं पाए जाएंगे ये लोग. इनकी सीवी खराब हो जाएगी. इनकी कोई इलिसिट रिलेशनशिप मिली, इनको कोई सेनेट में जगह नहीं देगा. इनके किरदार वैसे जैसे हमारे बच्चों के होने चाहिए, ऑन पेपर एटलीस्ट. मेक श्योर ये वो लोग नहीं है जो आप सोचते हो, यू नो व्हाट, कोई लॉबी ने करा दिया, बहुत करप्ट किस्म का कोई, यू नो, कोई जैसे हमारे कोई मुस्लिम लीग का कोई सेनेटर है. नो, these people have the cleanest slate possible. इसको कहते हैं अच्छी परवरिश के बच्चे, क्योंकि इनके कैरियर्स बचपन से ए ग्रेडर्स होते हैं सारे, मगर ट्रेंड होते हैं कि भाईजान यू नो लिबरल आर्ट्स में जाना है. ये अपने बच्चों को डॉक्टर इंजीनियर नहीं बना रहे होते. उनको पता होता है भाई डॉक्टर इंजीनियर तो हम खरीद के या किराए पे ला सकते हैं. हमें इस वक्त स्पीकर, इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, थॉट लीडर्स चाहिए. हमें पॉलिसी मेकर्स और चेंज मेकर्स चाहिए. उसके लिए क्रेडिबिलिटी और सीवी चाहिए होती है, पीछे से एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड हो. जाके देखें कैम्ब्रिज में या क्या कहते हैं उसको, हार्वर्ड बोल रहा हूँ, ऑक्सफोर्ड में देखें जरा इन ह्यूमैनिटीज की फैकल्टीज में ये लोग कैसे, कौन कौन सी फैमिलीज आ रही हैं. अभी मैं आपको कनाडा की मिसाल देता हूँ. ईस्टर्न Canada is run by the French. Actually, all of Canada is run by the French, but Eastern Canadian अपने बच्चों को जिन यूनिवर्सिटी और जिन कॉलेजेस के थ्रू एजुकेट करवाते हैं, आप वो जमीन आसमान का फर्क है। वेस्टर्न कैनेडियंस जो कि स्पेनिश ओरिएंटेड है, जरा पेंडू टाइप लोग हैं, उनकी इस तरह की ओरिएंटेशन नहीं है। क्यों? इन फ्रेंच को पता होता है हमने मुल्क चलाना है। दे नो कि बेटा अगर सही तरह का कैरियर ना बनाया शुरू से ही तो उस ट्रैक पे आ ही नहीं सकेगा जहां पे तुझे पार्लियामेंट में या सेनेट में जगह मिले। इट्स अ वेरी बिग मैटर फॉर देम कि मेरी सीवी ना खराब हो जाए। किसको? स्कूल के बच्चे को पता होता है कि मेरी सीवी ना खराब हो। इस तरीके से फ्रांस कनाडा चला रहा है और यही तरीका चाहिए आपको। इंग्लैंड में आपका बच्चा पावर नहीं पकड़ा और सीवी खराब कर रहा है तो पाकिस्तान भी तबाह कर रहा है साथ। ही इज नॉट अ गुड मुस्लिम अगर उसकी सीवी खराब हो रही है इधर। मैं आपसे वही तो कह रहा हूं, इंग्लैंड आपका मोरल कैपिटल खुद ही बना रहा है। पाकिस्तान में मोरल कैपिटल तोड़ने के 1000 बहाने मिल जाते हैं आपको। वापडा का बिल भी 2 नंबर से न करो, जमा नहीं होता अब तो बगैर रिश्वत के। बिजली का अपना बिल जमा कराने के लिए भी दो बिल जमा कराने पड़ते हैं, एक उसको और एक वापडा को। इस्लाम के खिलाफ बनाया कोई मशीन हो, उसका नाम पाकिस्तान रख सकते हैं हम। इस्लाम के लिए नहीं तो वो कैसे करना है? वो आप नहीं ठीक करना, मैं नहीं ठीक करना ना। हम बैठे गालियां तो नहीं देंगे पाकिस्तान को और कहने के खुद ही ठीक हो जाएगा। और किसी एक बंदे ने पावर लगानी पड़ेगी और वो कॉम्पिटेंट लोग यहां से निकलेंगे। वरना नवाज शरीफ रिंस एंड रिपीट, जरदारी नवाज ये चक्कर चल रहा है, आर्मी चक्कर यही चलता रहेगा। फिर बता दूं आपको, वो अमेरिका में किसी के बच्चों से मिलने गया है चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ, वो हमारे बच्चे नहीं थे बस। समझ रहे? वो सही बच्चों से मिलने गया है, सही माँ बाप के सही बच्चे थे वो, उनको पता था कैसे गेम खेलनी है। हमारे बच्चे नहीं थे। इज दैट सिंपल। जरदारी चाइना में ना गया था, मैं चाइना में था। आई यूज्ड टू वर्क फॉर चाइना मोबाइल। चाइना मोबाइल इज द रिचेस्ट कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड, कंपनी, richest company in the world। 712 बिलियन युआन पर ईयर टर्नओवर है। पाकिस्तान को टाइम्स 3 कर दें, एक कंपनी का टर्नओवर है। और हम उस वक्त मेरी ट्रेनिंग चल रही थी, एक और कंपनी के अंदर हम डिप्लॉय हुए थे, वो चाइना मोबाइल की। और जरदारी साहब चाइना के प्रेसिडेंट से मिलने नहीं गए थे पहले। पता किसके पास आए थे? चाइना मोबाइल के प्रेसिडेंट से मिलने। क्यों? पैसे चाहिए पाकिस्तान को। और चाइना मोबाइल के प्रेसिडेंट ने उसको कहा भाग जा, $600 मिलियन अभी दिए। लिटरली ही सेड, प्लीज डू नॉट आस्क मी फॉर मोर मनी, वी डोंट इवन नो व्हाट यू डिड विद द लास्ट ऑफ आवर मनी। चाइना मोबाइल का प्रेसिडेंट चाइना का प्रेसिडेंट नहीं है, लिटरली सजदा करता है चाइना के प्रेसिडेंट को। चाइना मोबाइल का एक आम सा सीईओ है भाई उसके सामने। तो यू नीड टू सी हाउ परफॉर्मेंस इज डन, हाउ पावर इज accumulated। ब्रांड आपका इंग्लैंड के थ्रू आएगा, ओके? आपकी परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो इंडिविजुअल होगी या ग्रुप की होगी, ब्रांड इंग्लिश ही होगा। इसको कैश कराना आपने। वही चाइना मोबाइल अगर कोरिया में होती तो ना जाता जरदारी उसके पास, क्योंकि वो चाइना में थी तो ब्रांड वर्थ थी उसकी। इट इज अ वेरी सिंपल मैथ। इंग्लैंड हैज डन विक्टोरिया, आई स्वेयर विक्टोरिया हैज डन द मैथ फॉर यू। यूटिलाइज हर नाउ। Your forefathers, your grandfather and your father, sometimes even you've done the hard work for your kids. You came here. आपने चाहे पत्थर तोड़ा, ईंट तोड़ी है, कुछ भी किया, आपने काम कर दिया। अब अपने बच्चों के साथ स्ट्रक्चर अलाइनमेंट थ्योरी के साथ काम करना पड़ेगा। There is no other choice। वरना अभी फिर पाकिस्तान का नाम पता है आपको, अगली नस्ल को क्या पता पाकिस्तान का, अल्लाह ना करे नाम भी ना पता हो। क्या पता होता कब क्या वाकया हो जाए हमारे साथ। ये जिस तरीके से लगे में, और मैं पाकिस्तान को पाकिस्तान नहीं कह रहा हूं, मुझे अल्लाह की कसम, आई एम नॉट दैट सिंसियर विद पाकिस्तान। मैं इस्लाम से सिंसियर हूं। इन्होंने इस्लाम के मतलब बदलने शुरू कर दिए। आप पता नहीं क्या बनेगा हमारे दीन का। पाकिस्तान एक मॉडल विलेज बनानी थी हमने, और वो कैसे की? वो मेरे और आपके बच्चों से ही बननी है, और नहीं बनाएगा कोई। एक चांस मिला था एक पाकिस्तानी को, उसने बांग्लादेश का मुल्क बनवा दिया था अपनी सेल्फिशनेस के अंदर कि मैं इलेक्शन ना हार जाऊं। हालांकि पक्की बात आ रहा था इलेक्शन। मैं भुट्टो की बात कर रहा हूं। एवरीबडी न्यू हैड लॉस्ट, नहीं वो क्यों लालची, वो सेल्फ ओरिएंटेड, सेल्फ मेड, सेल्फ ओइंग, सिंपल सा इंसाफ नहीं हुआ उससे। ज्यादा बड़ा लीडर बन जाता, पता है अगर कहता हाँ भाई तो जीता है, फेयरनेस है। इंग्लैंड में तो नहीं किसी को तरद्दुद होता फेयरनेस वाली बात करने में, उसको क्यों तरद्दुद होता, मेरी 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 फॉलोइंग, मेरी मैं, वो बचपन से पला हुआ ऐसे। गॉड ओरिएंटेड नहीं होना, सेल्फ ओरिएंटेड होना है, तो वो ऐसे ही रखते हैं उन्हें। सो ये अभी तो है, अभी बलोचिस्तान के साथ पता नहीं क्या होने वाला, क्या बचेगा हमारा, सोचें। मैं पाकिस्तान क्यों कर रहा हूं, इसके अलावा कुछ है हमारे पास? आप बताएं ना, पूछें इंडियन मुस्लिम से जो बैठे हुए क्या हालात होते हैं उनके। ये भी ना बचा तो फिर किंग चार्ल्स जो कहेगा करना पड़ेगा, मजबूरी होगी फिर। जी वालेकुम सलाम।
So if you could just go back to the slide where it was talking about the religious mindset, please. Firstly, there was points on there where it talks about that the political aspect of it is not incorporated, but throughout history, Islamic civilization has been very strong. For example, in the Ottoman Empire, they had a concept called Deen and Devlet, where it's hand in hand Islam and politics.
You'll have to be louder.
Islam and politics was hand in hand, so like there was Deen and Devlet.
Always.
So throughout Islamic civilization, the first 1,000 years, Islam and politics was hand in hand. You had scholars alongside politicians, making sure that they were following the order and the Sharia law, etc., to make sure the civilization was there. And it's only the last 400 years since the Ottoman Empire has collapsed that concept has left.
100
It was 100 years, but it was on a decline over the last 400 years. Because the Ottoman Empire did decline, but they had a concept called Deen and Devlet, where it was Islam.
What's your question?
So the question is more so in regards to that point, that the religious mindset also looks at basically politics and how Islam is incorporated into that. We use it on there, it states that we don't really look into that.
Yeah, see, now I'm having a hard time catching your accent, first of all. So you'll have to ask the question part again.
So the question here is Islam and politics has gone hand in hand in regards to governance. For example, the Ottoman Empire.
Listen, what's your name?
My name is Khalid.
Kaleem. Okay. I asked you your name for a reason. Let me talk. Islam and politics go hand in hand is a wrong statement, because in this no. Even the coherent part. Islam and politics are not two different things. Two different things can go hand in hand. Politics is part of Islam. So they don't go hand in hand. So it's like Islam and namaz go hand in hand. No, Islam and namaz don't go hand in hand. Namaz is part of Islam. Yeah, but no Muslim can say Islam and Salah go hand in hand. You see what I'm saying?
I can understand what you're saying, but we both agree on the same thing here, but on that list.
What list?
If you go back to the religious mindset, the religious mindset also takes into consideration, public policy.
Give me an example.
The Ottoman Empire had that in place.
Ottoman Empire had a system.
They had a system exactly.
Yeah, no. Now, this is the last 100 years.
Yeah, but not everyone's mindset is like that, where they don't take that into consideration.
Like, give me an example.
And obviously right now, it may not be like that, but this is where, the mindset should look, change that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what the slide wants you to think, that bring all of this into Islam.
But a true religious mindset would not look, put that down. A true religious mindset would that be up alongside the routine.
Yeah, this is Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Why is it down?
It shouldn't be down. A true religious mindset should be up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I did all this time.
No, but what I'm saying is that religious mindset that's there is everyone's religious mindset.
Is there. Take a sample. You'll see that none of them have ever seen a Muslim academic tell them that this is part of Islam, a mandatory part. So if you go into the current religious mindset of the scholarship, this quotient is going to go down.
Yeah, that's correct. That's 100% correct. But not everyone has that mindset. We're all laying down at the bottom. This is the only thing that I wanted to make the point across. Do you understand what I'm saying, Deacon? Oh, doesn't matter. Okay.
No, but I know what you're trying to say. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't be like
Yeah,
that.
that's why. That's why.
This is the point I'm making.
That's why I'm trying to say this. This is it. This is what it should be. The ideal. This is the current. This is the current. It shouldn't be like this. Yeah.
For the last 3 hours you have been speaking, so that shows your excitement and all of the ideas for this class. So very much.
No problem, sir.
My accent will not be problematic for you. I come from Faisalabad. I speak Punjabi English, so it should be okay with you. There are 3 things which I
Mike ke paas hai.
Yeah, just want to mention to you. One thing is the politics. Politics at the end is always local. So when you're talking about Gaza, Gaza is a symbol for freedom, is symbol for fighting against the injustice. Whenever we're talking about Gaza, yes, it does get the traction, but there are many or little Gazas in Pakistan as well. So we need to talk about that, one. Second,
Before you go to second, why are you assuming the politics is only local?
politics at the end, because whenever you talk...
This is America running Israel
So these are local people.
No, they're local in America.
Yes, and they're dealing the issues at local level.
No, they're dealing the issues in Tel Aviv. They're sitting in Washington.
But all of the policy making is being dealt with the local people.
What local?
In America, or in the States, or in all of the
No, they're running the policy in Tel Aviv.
I don't agree with that, but anyways, that's okay.
You don't agree that these people are Jewish or are Israeli national or are they?
Jewish does not mean...
Hold on, let me finish. Are you telling me these people did not run the policy of Tel Aviv going into Jerusalem?
What I'm telling you is that whenever you want to influence, the influence from the local politics, you cannot take the helicopter overview of the politics.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Shahid.
Shahid Sahib, listen. Shahid Sahib, listen. Chuck Schumer का पता है आपको? क्या किया उसने? जेरूसलम का कैपिटल चक शूमर का क्या ताल्लुक है?
नहीं तो उससे पॉलिटिक्स का क्या था?
हैं?
पॉलिटिक्स का क्या था?
चक शूमर कौन है?
Chuck Schumer, I don't know what exactly he does, but
He's a senator. तो पॉलिटिक्स का क्या ताल्लुक है इसका मतलब है? चक शूमर ने जेरूसलम का कैपिटल जेरूसलम बनाया है और तल अवीव था. कहाँ पे बैठ के बनाया? जेरूसलम में.
ये इजराइली जो है ना ये बहुत बड़ी एक टॉपिक cannot discuss in this space. What I'm telling you is that
No, what I'm telling you is politics is done like this.
Okay, yeah. So we may disagree. The other thing is that
You disagree कि चक शूमर अमेरिकन है या जेरूसलम को ताल्लुक है या पॉलिटिक्स में? Where do you disagree?
there is a long history for Israel. You know, we cannot talk about like that.
Chuck Schumer is older than Israel.
Yes, but who was the people who did bring Israel to as a state?
The English.
Exactly.
So?
And when did it start?
1917.
No, it was much before. It was 1890s or something.
Yeah, okay, 1891. तो 1917 पे बेलफोर हुआ ना? तो उससे पहले मैं क्यों बोलूँ उससे?
Zionism की जो foundation है वो much more before this.
So आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं? Political नहीं है? Israel not a political है वो?
मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि मैं आपका जो message है वो ठीक है. But at the same time, what I'm going to tell you is that we need to talk political power at the local level. We have to discuss with the people at the local level. Yes, I'm standing here in Civic Center. I do have to do the politics in NewCastle sometime. So what I want to know is that most of the thesis is about us, Muslims and others. I do not want to agree to that thesis. We are British people. I come from Pakistan. You're talking about group psychology, but at the baseline, what you're trying to say is that you have to have a kind of disintegration of the society. We don't want that.
Why are you assuming that I want disintegration? I said grow your babies here, bring them in power in England.
Not on the concept that we against them. No, we are part of them and we are going to change.
Them who?
These British people.
Who's putting you against the British?
That's what I was saying, that whenever you're talking about like that, we Muslims.
शाहिद साहब, listen, आपको कहाँ से लगा कि मैं इंग्लैंड के खिलाफ आप में से किसी एक को भी चार्ज किया?
Yeah, I felt that, and that's why
you felt wrong.
We are not doing that, right?
I am giving you that. आप इंग्लैंड में पावरफुल नहीं होंगे तो पाकिस्तान इंडिया में कुछ नहीं कर सकेंगे. इसमें इंग्लैंड के खिलाफ कैसे कर दिया मैंने आपको?
इसलिए आ गया कि whenever you're talking, at least I get that. If you're not saying that, that's.
There you go. Yeah, well, at least we talked about this.
And the third thing is that you're talking about the self-esteem. Whenever people come from Pakistan, especially with our different mindset, they always teach against the self-esteem of the people, that you are the worst people. Pakistan is the worst country. They are doing the most right thing. How is life going to do that class has been doing so much good? It is not always right. Give this nation some confidence that, okay, there are problems, but you can do much, much better. One of the reasons for Muslim life, self-esteem, because you are all.
शाहिद साहब, आप पाकिस्तान छोड़ के इंग्लैंड आए हैं और मैं आपसे कह रहा हूँ पाकिस्तान बनाना है. आप पाकिस्तान छोड़ के आप आए इंग्लैंड, मैं नहीं आया हूँ. You're the traitor, not me. Okay, and you're telling me कि मैं पाकिस्तान की बुराई कर रहा हूँ. पाकिस्तान की बुराई कब की है मैंने? Who's bashing Pakistan? पाकिस्तान most insecure country है. नहीं है? पाकिस्तान में फ्रॉड होता है कि नहीं? अच्छा, पाकिस्तान एक जन्नत है इसलिए आप इंग्लैंड आ गए. तो इसलिए आप बात सुने, जन्नत बना सकते हैं आपके थ्रू. इस मैसेज में मसला है आपको? तो फिर आप क्यों कह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ बात करूंगा? और 24 साल के लिए ना उसको निकाह गलत करने पे सजा मिल गई है. इंग्लैंड में कोई करके दिखाए इस तरह. और चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ एक कंपनी चला लेना तो बड़ी बात है, कंट्री चला रहा है. ये दोज़ख नहीं, इससे बुरी बात हरकत हो रही है. दोज़ख में भी लॉ होता है, ठीक है? No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I want you guys to understand. I told you from the first slide, if I don't provoke you, nothing's gonna happen. पाकिस्तान की अच्छाइयाँ करनी है तो आपके बच्चों के थ्रू सीवी बननी चाहिए पाकिस्तान की. खाली अच्छाई करने से ईगो बूस्ट होगा हमारा और कुछ भी नहीं. ओके जी? Oh yes sir. Yes sir. Last questions please. Last questions. Yes, please.
Okay.
Somebody.
Question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, thanks for the lecture. I would say I agree with it 100% with I'm here with my mom and dad, and they brought me up similar in the sense that I should follow these same rules and try and play with the system to make a change, ultimately.
How are you going to start? What's the first thing you're going to do?
Obviously, educate yourself, make sure you...
No, bring people together. That's the first step. I'm talking about Newcastle.
But the problem that I want to place to you is the flaw I see with the system is that you're assuming that everyone has a fundamental belief in Islam before they kind of get into...
No, not everyone. Everyone in this room.
Yeah, but again, it's an assumption. The majority of people that came here today came for some inspiration into why they are on the right track. One of the biggest problems we have in the West is the disconnection to our religion, because nobody here teaches us anything other than what we learn in the mosque from our Maulvi. We don't pick a Maulvi. He tells us about should we be reading Eid Mulad al-Nabi, can we do 2 Eids in a mosque. That's the type of lectures that we grew up listening to. We don't have any inspiration, we don't have any role models we look up to who follow what I would class as practice.
Hold on. It's a good thing you actually started with that. How can, what kind of inspiration is going to get you out of Eid Milad al-Nabi or one single Eid?
What I'm trying to explain is that these are the things that we listen to because nobody teaches us fundamentals of practical Islam. Now, the reason why
More practical than this, more powerful than this, global takeover than this, less inspiration. Is this as less inspiration? I had to put more Mars or Jupiter here to increase inspiration because I can use the planet here. And if I had to put more inspiration, I had to put more. I would have to add more planets in this.
No, this isn't the problem. What I'm saying is I agree with what you said over here. What I'm saying is the assumption you make is that everyone is following Islam or has that fundamental belief.
I agree. That is assumption. As a priori to my lecture, I agree. I'm assuming that जो लोग इधर आए हुए थे, वो शिया सुन्नी मसाइल में नहीं फंसे हुए, वो बरेलवी देवबंदियों में नहीं फंसे हुए. They are about, you know what, the deen, the system versus the problems that, you know, for example, Gaza. It's not a Shia Sunni problem. It's a problem of.
The people in Gaza could easily sign a treaty, leave Gaza 50%, but they have a much stronger fundamental belief in what they believe in is that they are right, which is why they're willing to die.
True. Not just them, even non-Muslims believe in that.
But we, as a group, do we have that same belief? So we could push our kids and, you know, we're in the right place to educate them and make them, you know, politicians.
You're right. I agree with you. I assume that the base is covered. Your belief system is correct. I am assuming that.
For me, the base of the problem is how do I inspire my children?
No, well, what's your name, sir? Muzammil. That's why I said you want to structure your basics. You got so many people on so many fronts which you named. And that's something that they're doing really well. They're not going to let you go, you know, into this quagmire of, you know, I'm talking about any scholar that you listen to, more or less, is going to get you out of that, you know, that little mesh which you're talking about, that basics nahi clear kisi ki. But I'm thinking, basics clear hai, or agar basics nahi clear, it's okay. There's so much scholarship on YouTube as well. That's roaming around, pumping content. And that's why I asked you, kinko sun rahe hain? Okay, you got the right names, sort of thing. Okay, so these people are inside your homes, inside your cell phones. If they are not fixing your basics, my job is not to fix your basics. I'll tell you why. Because you're naturally going to challenge कि सर पहले आप turban पहन लें, हम मदरसा trained हैं. Not that you went to madrasa, मगर we need a academic degree from you on your akida, so that I can get my akida aligned with your akida. I'm assuming that, you know what, akidas are probably similar. We all believe in one God and the last Prophet ﷺ, and we believe that Muslims are a regular family, like the Prophet ﷺ said. And we're going to have to fix it as a family member, especially at your and my age, head of the family. That's my basic assumption. Other than that, even if you are celebrating Eid Milad al-Nabi, I don't really mind. That's not one of those problems that I think Muslims are suffering from. If you have 4 or 3 Eids in Newcastle, I don't really care. Because the only number that I push for is 1, which is Ahad. After that, everything else is good to go. But if you're saying Eid Milad al-Nabi is a bigger problem, then I'm telling you it's not. Being a Shia, not a problem. Being a Sunni, it's a problem, not a big problem. Big problem is our community is defining the bigger problem, and most of the time they don't even define the problem. And it takes our millions of kids now. Otherwise, they should not have required millions of kids. Now I require millions of kids to come together and form that power structure, that blockchain. And if we can create only 100,000 kids coming together globally, your kids are millionaires. Literally, that's how money is done. Abhi main aapko batata hu, I give you 200,000 customers no matter what you launch. No matter what you launch, no matter what quality of the product. I give you 200,000 customers. Are you not a millionaire? Of course you're a millionaire. I'm giving you that. You're not looking at the opportunity I'm bringing with myself. I'm giving you kids from Houston, from Melbourne, from Sydney, from Jakarta, from Islamabad. I'm giving you more than 100,000. Could be, inshallah, 1 million. They form a blockchain, and whatever they do, finance is not going to be the problem. That's the least of their problems. I'm trying to tell you to change the word career. You're looking at the career as a solo effort. I'm giving you all of your consumer base, all your subscribers. You want to be famous? You're already famous. Put a girl on this stage. I'm going to make sure 2 million people globally are going to subscribe to her. But she's got to make some sense. She better make some Islam. She better make some deen. And we're going to make that girl some money because she would need those silver bullets to fight the war, whatever she launches. Because money should not be her problem. We are a single community. Every community, when we came together, all the weaker units of the community started prospering from the stronger nodes. Aga Khan Ismail, kya naam hai iska pura? Prince Karim Aga Khan stood here in Iran. And this one child comes and says, you know what? I'm an Aga Khani, I'm a believer. Listen to this story. YouTube it. I hope it is on YouTube. And he says, people think Aga Khaniyon ke paas bahut paise hote hain. I cannot make the tuition of this college I'm applying into. And I need you to help me. And Aga Khan did this. Literally, he did this. He said, okay, I've drank from this glass. It was a glass of water. I want you to go. 10,000 people in the arena. Here you go. This is the glass of water. I drank from it. Bid for it. $30 million to that child in that one meeting. That's how community works. हमारे पास असली नबी है और हम नहीं कर रहे. उनके पास नकली नबी है और वो कर गए. समझ रहे? That's how community is done. हमारे पास एक अल्लाह है, एक नबी, असली नबी मेरे पास, एक कुरान, असली बुक, मगर कम्युनिटी नहीं बन रही हमारी. फॉरगेट ज्योति. मैं आपके सामने अपने नाम को मुसलमान लगाने वाले इस्माइलियों की बात बता रहा हूं. That's the power of a belief. That's the power of purpose. That's the power of people. इकट्ठे तो. I am just giving you your time की case studies. साहबा की सुनाता आप कहते हैं, you know what, सर बहुत बुकिश बातें हो गई. हमारा ईमान उस लेवल, आपका ईमान तो बहुत बड़ा है. आगा खानियों का तो ईमान झूठे नबी पे है. मेरा और आपका ईमान तो असली सच्चे नबी पे. We can do this. And we have done this before, by the way. जी.
Sir, I try my best कि मैं अपने बच्चों को career minded ना बनाऊं. और मैंने ये कहा
Career minded बनाएं.
जो career, जो profession choose करना है करें, लेकिन आपने उसके top पे जाना है, उसकी peak पे जाना है, और साथ में आपने best study के साथ आपने best Muslim बनना है. Practice.
Listen, being a Muslim is a career. आप समझ नहीं रहे मेरे लेक्चर को. इसका मतलब है You as a Muslim, Ali bin Abi Talib का करियर है, उमर खत्ताब का करियर है. You need to understand. I'll tell you a story, real story. जिस दिन अबू बकर सिद्दीक पहले दिन he holds the office, Ali bin Abi Talib और उमर खत्ताब are walking the streets of Medina. All of a sudden they see Abu Bakr Siddiq कपड़े डाले हुए हैं कंधे पे, कपड़े cloth, and he's running. They both start running toward Abu Bakr Siddiq and they said, "Oh, Amirul Mu'mineen, किधर जा रहे हैं?" And he said, क्या मतलब कपड़े बेचने जा रहा हूँ. That's what I do for a living. And his Umar Khattab says, you need to be in the office. लोगों की लाइन लगी हुई है. And he said, तो क्या बच्चे भूखे मर जाएं? कपड़े बेचूंगा, पैसे बनाएंगे तो खाने खाएंगे ना. So you know what these three came together for? Ali bin Abi Talib को उमर खत्ताब ने कहा, बात सुने, कोई फार्मूला बताए, ये तो काम नहीं चलेगा. ये तो 2-3 घंटे मार्केट में बैठे रहेगा अबू बकर सिद्दीक, अमीरुल मोमिनीन हमारा. So हम कोई वजीफा बना देते हैं. So उमर खत्ताब ने कहा, घर में कितने बंदे हैं? उन्होंने कहा फलां. So ऐसा करे, एक बकरा रोज का कर लिया करे, आधा बकरा. अली bin Abi Talib ने कहा, आधा बकरा कैसे, इतने बंदे तो नहीं आधा एक बकरा कर सकते, एक पूरा बकरा कर दो रोज का. कहा कि खाने की कहानी खत्म करें इनकी. ये better do his job. Okay? Listen, मैंने आपको छोटी करके सुनाई. पहले उन्होंने आधा बकरा किया, अगले दिन गए तो पता चला अबू बकर सिद्दीक फिर मार्केट जा रहे. They both grabbed him again. And he said, "Ya Amirul Mu'mineen, आज फिर आप मार्केट." And he said, "यार वो आधा बकरा थोड़ा पड़ गया." He said, "अच्छा तो फिर मांगा क्यों नहीं?" He said, "मैं कैसे मांगू? How can I say कि मेरी तनख्वाह बढ़ाओ ना, मेरे मतलब मेरी परफॉर्मेंस क्या है?" So he said, अच्छा ऐसा करें, बंदों की तादाद बताएं घर में कितनी है. That's how the first income statement of Abu Bakr Siddiq as Amirul Mu'mineen was set. यू नीड टू सी करियर होता क्या है। करियर होती है आपकी इस्लाम में परफॉर्मेंस क्या है, बाकी कम्युनिटी सेट करती है आपकी, बाकी भी स्ट्रेस ना हो। हमने क्या किया, हमारी कम्युनिटी से स्ट्रेस ले लिया, उसके पास इतनी बड़ी गाड़ी, 2 थप्पड़ बच्चे को लगाते हैं, नंबर कम क्यों आ रहे हैं। यू नीड टू सी आपका बच्चा, मैंने आपको शुगर का क्या बताया, उसका करियर है कि नहीं, 100% करियर कहाँ पे, अपनी कौम में करियर। हमारा अपनी कौम में करियर ही नहीं, हमारा अपने खानदानों में करियर है, हमारा अपने मोहल्ले में करियर है। हमारा अपनी कौम में करियर होगा तो सब ठीक हो जाएगा। आपका बच्चा पैसे कम बनाएगा या ज्यादा बनाएगा, असल में करियर ये नहीं होता। आपके बच्चे ने काम किस तरह करते हैं, किस तरह से दिखानी हो, वो करियर होता है। प्रोफेशन में टॉप पे जाना और प्रैक्टिसिंग मुस्लिम बनना साथ साथ, ये अलग चीजें क्यों हैं?
जो अच्छे मुस्लिम हैं, जो दीन पे चलते हैं, वो जिंदगी की दौड़ में पीछे हैं या रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करते।
हाँ, ये बात, ये है करोड़ रुपए की बात, ये बात, ये यहाँ पे मसला आ रहा है। ये इसको इसलिए मैं कह रहा था कि ये जो प्रैक्टिसिंग मुस्लिम है ना, वो यहाँ पे गरीब हैं, इधर मफलूज है, लाचार है, इसलिए कोई प्रैक्टिसिंग मुस्लिम नहीं बनना चाह रहा। उनको मैं कह रहा हूँ वो प्रैक्टिसिंग मुस्लिम नहीं, वो साधु हैं। प्रैक्टिसिंग मुस्लिम उमर बिन खत्ताब है। बोझ क्यों कह रहे हैं, अलग चीज है, अलग चीज नहीं। उमर बिन खत्ताब प्रैक्टिसिंग मुस्लिम है कि नहीं? क्या प्रैक्टिस की उन्होंने, सबसे बड़ा रोल क्या अदा किया?
उन्होंने आधी दुनिया को मुस्लिम वर्ल्ड के अंदर उन्होंने लेकर आए।
ओके, उकबा के सहाबी जो है, उनकी वैल्यू बदर के सहाबा से ज्यादा कैसे, उनका कैरियर ज्यादा रोशन कैसे हुआ है? जब जी जब ओ माय गॉड नो, नहीं 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 जी, उन्होंने इस्लाम को, अच्छा याद रखिएगा, बदर के सहाबा ने इस्लाम ख़त्म होने से बचाया है, और उकबा के सहाबा ने मेरे और आपके बच्चे मुसलमान किए। मैं और आप मुसलमान ना होते अगर वो 11 बंदे मदीना में एस्टेब्लिश ना करवाते नबी इस्लाम को, दुनिया पूरी को मुसलमान करवाया उन 11 सहाबा ने, सेंटर क्रिएट कर दिया, सिस्टम बना दिया इस दीन को। हाँ, तो करियर साद बिन माज का बदर के सहाबी से ऊपर चला गया। वैल्यू ऐसे निकालते हैं करियर की, इंपैक्ट कितना बड़ा है। अब मैं जितना मर्जी बिलियनर ट्रिलियनर हो जाऊं, सिर्फ मेरे 20 बच्चे पल रहे उससे, तो मेरा करियर लानत है ऐसे करियर पे। पाकिस्तानी डेफिनेशन पे नवाज शरीफ ने बहुत अच्छे बाप होने का सबूत दिया है। पैसा लूटा है कि नहीं लूटा, जो भी किया, आके बच्चों के लिए उसने फ्लैट इंग्लैंड में बना दिए, उसने नस्लें पल रही हैं उसकी। बहुत अच्छा पाकिस्तानी बाप है नवाज शरीफ। डेफिनेशन ऑफ पाकिस्तानी करियर, इस्लामी तौर पे पता नहीं किस किस लेवल के ऊपर किस किस रिप्रेशन का गुनाह है। 25 करोड़ बंदों के सामने जवाब दे होगा, 25 करोड़ बंदों के सामने एक भी सवाल का जवाब ना आता हुआ तो पता नहीं कितने अरबों साल की सजा है। करियर कैसे नापना है आखिरत बताती है ना। इंपैक्ट ऑन इस्लाम की डेफिनेशन क्लियर है हमारी। सो यू नीड टू सी कि दुनिया में इस वक्त सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है हमारी, एज अ कम्युनिटी प्रॉब्लम है। वो जो सॉल्व करेगा करियर उसका होगा, ठीक है। इस तरह तो नहीं वो पकड़ेंगे ना, वैसे वो कहेंगे हमें क्या बात ठीक करी है, मगर ऐसे नहीं देना, ग्रामर दुरुस्त रखनी है। आपके सामने मैंने जूइश डायस्पोरा और उनकी कैपेबिलिटी क्यों दिखाई है, ताकि आपको पता चले भाई इकबाल की नजर नहीं, असल में हो रहा है, अभी हो रहा है, हमारे टाइम पे हो रहा है। इट इज नॉट हिस्ट्री, दिस इज प्रेजेंट टाइम। It will be written in history in golden words. In 100 years from now, all of these people will be heroes. Right now, इनकी कदर इसलिए नहीं हो रही because इसराइल ने अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव अचीव नहीं किए अभी सारे, अभी तो वो सर्वाइवल मोड में है। समझ रहे? हमने भी 100 साल बाद देखना हमारे बच्चों की वैल्यू क्या होनी है, हम मेरी वैल्यू क्या होनी है। जी पूछें।
Ladies and gentlemen, only one question more, please. Please, one question more. The time is over now. We have got very short time. I request everyone, please, anybody from the ladies' side or gentlemen.
Yeah, with the child.
Please.
Yeah, the child.
I was going to ask that you were talking about how a lot of Israeli people are in places of power in America with Biden. And I'm asking if it's worth all of these women growing up and going into political jobs and going to uni to study politics if they're not going to end up in positions where they can make decisions like that, where they're in powerful places where they can make decisions that change things. They're not, and they'll never get there. So why is it worth us going to uni and doing politics? And
No, I lost you. What's the bit about hijab?
that you're telling us that we should study politics. Women should be studying politics.
Study and perform.
Yeah, but why would we do that if we're not going to get in a place of power? Because everyone in a place of power is Israeli or they're Jewish.
No, they're not.
You've showed us that grid on one of the slides.
Yeah, it's not all the places of power. I'm just showing you pictures of people who did it for their own place, which is Israel. Okay? This is not all of America or all of England. Actually, you're in England. I didn't show you anything in England. Plus, all of the people right now who are in their 40s and 50s, by the time you're going to be old enough, they will be retired and dead. Kids your age are going to take their place if you're not gonna in 20 years from now, or 10, or 15. So you only have a decade to do whatever you can to get capability and credibility.
But is that possible if governments in the West are Christian governments where they are making us accept things like LGBTQ and we're going...
Listen, you're thinking democracy and you're thinking going into the Senate. No, I'm talking about being prominent, individual, based on your brains. And people in Pakistan are going to take you seriously because you are making some sort of public change here. But you got to be famous there. I'm going to get that platform. And there are already so many platforms that English people, like for example, what's his name? Muhammad Hijab. In Pakistan, is pretty famous. He never went to Pakistan. He's in England. If he were in Egypt, he wouldn't have been famous. He's only famous because he's in England. You understand me? You know who Muhammad Hijab is? Okay, some guy. Okay, he's in England. He's a public speaker. Okay? So, Mufti Menk, or what's his name? Umar Suleiman. If he were in wherever country he's from, he wouldn't have been famous. But since he's in America, everybody follows him. It is the American brand that is pumping his mileage up. Okay? Yasser Qazi, you know him because he's in America. Otherwise, if he were in Pakistan, he's just another guy. Understand where you're from. This platform is going to give you whatever wings that you have, but you got to grow them yourself. Study, see what the problem in Newcastle is, try and make a lot more changes here. Become more active, write more articles, be in the newspapers to begin with. Okay? Talk to people, debate, argue. That's how you're going to become credible. Okay? Raise your IQ about it and talk about real things.
Next question, please. Give the mic to her, please. Thank you.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैंने आपसे कहना है कि यहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा भाई हैं, तो आप ये बताएं कि एक मुस्लिम फादर का घर में क्या रोल होना चाहिए अपने बच्चों को रेस करने में, और जैसे आप कह रही हैं कि बच्चों को एक विजन के साथ हमें रेस करना चाहिए विद रिगार्ड टू आवर इन्वायरमेंट और कल्चर। तो आप ये ज़रा यहाँ पर थोड़े से अपने वर्ड्स में ये एक्सप्लेन करें कि यहाँ जो इतने भी फादर बैठे हैं उन्हें घर में कितना रोल अदा करना चाहिए ताकि वो अपने बच्चों की अच्छी, जिस तरह आपका विजन है उस लिहाज से उनको रेज अप कर सकें और गाइड कर सकें।
देखिए, मुस्लिम फादर का वही रोल है जो कि नबी इस्लाम का रोल है। ये याद रखना आपने। मुस्लिम फादर इतना जिम्मेदार होता है कि वो पूरी नबी इस्लाम की सारी जो साइकोलॉजी और प्रैक्टिस करता है अपने बच्चों के साथ।
आप इस पे थोड़ी सी रोशनी डाल देना, क्योंकि मेरे हस्बैंड भी इधर है ताकि उन्हें पता चले कि उनका कितना इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है, क्योंकि हमारे कल्चर में ज़्यादा मदर्स पे डाल दिया जाता है। ये कहा जाता है ये जो बच्चे हैं
8 साल तक बच्चा सिर्फ माँ ने पालना है और 8 साल के बाद बच्चा बाप ने पालना है। ओके, आप दोनों एक दूसरे की हेल्प करेंगे तो पहले 8 साल में आपकी हेल्प करनी चाहिए उनको, और अगले 8 साल में आपने उनकी हेल्प करनी है। 16 साल के बाद खुदा का वास्ता है आप दोनों ने नहीं पालना, आप बच्चा अब अडल्ट हो गया है। नाउ यू आर नॉट गोना प्ले मामी ऑन दैट 16-year-old, ओके?
जी, लेकिन ये तो आप आइडियल कंडीशन बता रहे हैं ना, लेकिन ऐसा हो नहीं रहा।
क्या बच्चे 16 साल के नहीं होते इंग्लैंड में?
नहीं होती है, लेकिन वो इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं होते, उन्हें फिर भी पेरेंट्स की जरूरत है। हमारी सोसाइटी में बच्चे बहुत कम इंडिपेंडेंट है।
तो करें ना, यही रोल आपने पूछा है ना, ये रोल है। 15, 16, 17 साल का बच्चा इंडिपेंडेंट होना जरूरी है। He should not be dependent on anything that you have to give him. और इंग्लैंड में आने के बाद ही बच्चे आप पे डिपेंडेंट है, तो फायदा क्या इंग्लैंड में आने का आपका? तो पाकिस्तान में हम जान के रखते हैं बच्चों को अपने पे डिपेंडेंट, क्योंकि हमारे कोई सोशल सेक्टर स्ट्रक्चर होते नहीं है, तो हम कहते हैं भाई यही है, मेरी रियाया ही है, चाटूंगा उसको। उसके बच्चे की शादी भी अपने घर पे ही कर देते हैं हम। यहाँ पे तो ऐसे नहीं होगा ना।
जी, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जी बीबी।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
अस्सलाम।
स्पीक लाउडली प्लीज, थैंक यू।
सर, मेरा आपसे ये क्वेश्चन है कि जो अपने कोर बिलीव्स हैं वो इतने स्ट्रॉन्ग कैसे करें कि स्कूल लाइफ में, कॉलेज लाइफ में या यूनिवर्सिटी लाइफ में कोई भी सलीका और जॉन।
How old are you?
I'm 26.
You what?
26.
Really?
Yes.
So you're 12?
This is the lowest I got right now.
Listen, core belief सिर्फ कुरान और सीरा. The more you're going to go into Sira, the more you're going to recite the Quran. Sira is going to bind you with the Quran. Otherwise, you're not going to understand the Quran. Otherwise, the Quran is just a book of Arabic. A book of Arabic doesn't help anybody the Aqidah. You need to understand what it is. And even if you read the translation, Sira binds you with the psychology of what the ayah, what the time of the ayah is, what was his situation of the power of the ayah. Okay, understand, it's Allah Azza wa Jalla speaking to you. Unless you understand the seerah, you won't be able to get the best out of the Quran. So you better be the most well-versed girl in Newcastle on seerah. You know what seerah is, right?
So, no, I'm from Stockton, but I came here for this session. So, the main question is, like, I have seen in my life, in my university, that most people who were, like, very versed in, Islam, I can say, or very Islamic, I have seen them turn into atheists after, listening to their professors. I was a student of humanities and social sciences, and I can say that the level of humanities and social sciences that we are studying in our universities in Pakistan, and I can say that even in Cambridge and Oxford as well, these are the professors, they are turning the people, even Muslims, into atheists. So how to counter this problem?
क्या नाम है आपका?
Azka.
Azka. Nobody can turn any human being into an atheist, let alone a Muslim. It is the mommy or the daddy who does not develop a child in the first 12 years. They are the one who turn their child into an atheist.
This is why I'm asking, like, कि core belief इतना strong कैसे हो कि कोई भी
rational critical thinking माँ बाप नहीं सिखाएंगे, तो जो भी सिखाएगा आप उसके belief पे चले जाएंगे. If you're not gonna train your child on critical thinking, then whoever is gonna train him on critical thinking will take his belief with him. That's called acculturation. I told you, he's gonna take your belief. He's going to take your values. You need to train your child on critical thinking. If you're not going to make him challenge you, someone's going to make him challenge your mother or the father. Okay?
Hello.
Good question, Aska. Thanks.
जी, हेलो। The question is कि आपने point out किया था अपनी कुछ previous videos में कि last time जब ये मसला create हुआ था the church and state का, तो यजीद ने जो है वो मुसलमानों का सिर्फ सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेट नहीं किया, उसने हार्डवेयर भी अपडेट किया था।
चर्च एंड स्टेट पे नहीं यजीद ने किया था। चर्च एंड स्टेट वाला तो बाइबल का है ना, मुसलमानों के अंदर यजीद ने किया था यार।
हाँ, मुसलमानों के अंदर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि मुसलमानों में जब ये मसला फर्स्ट टाइम पैदा हुआ था कि कौन लेजिस्लेट करेगा, तो आपने कहा कि यजीद ने जो है वो मुसलमानों का हार्डवेयर भी अपडेट कर दिया था। ठीक है, जिसकी वजह से आज ये सारे मसले आ रहे हैं। और आपने कहा कि मैं इसलिए बुक्स को भी रेफर नहीं कर सकता कि मुसलमानों को चाहिए कि वो प्रीवियस बुक्स।
Yeah, I know what I said. So what's your question?
So मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि why don't you talk about that hardware, कि आप उसके बारे में बात क्यों नहीं करते?
Hardware means books.
Yeah, why don't you point them out कि ये बुक्स हैं, like these are the books.
Of what?
जो अपडेट हुई हैं, जो आप कह रहे हैं मैं रेफरेंस नहीं कर सकता, because people in Pakistan might be referencing them.
Listen, it's not pertinent to my topic, so I'm going to give you a short answer. All the books that you'll ever read are updated. Yeah, so मैं क्या रेफरेंस क्या दूँ? इब्न तैमिया से शुरू करूँ या पहले जाऊँ? How far do you want me to go in the past? People who have been serving their kings as scholars, they had to write the books which is the pro-king. They had to be pro-king, otherwise they wouldn't have been in the castle of the scholars. You understand me? So all of those people who gave this fatwa that you cannot criticize the king are going against the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahabas, because the Sahabas were criticized as rulers.
So what differentiates the Karbala from Jamal, Siffin and Nahrawan? Like what's the baseline? What's the, you would say that this is true and this is not?
Okay, Jamal is, I call Jamal a khuruj. Muslims don't. Oh, of course I call it the khuruj. I asked the question, why is it not khuruj? You know why they say it's not khuruj? Because Amir Muawiyah already had a power structure. So if he has a power structure, it's not khuruj. Okay, if that's the rule, then any militia going against the government is not khuruj. And no, that's not a yes in the books. Yeah, so it's a complicated thing. But
next question, please.
it is updated in terms of all the books. So that's why I ask any Muslim scholar on camera, if you can ask, or you can explain, Hussein alayhi salam, and don't, why is Hussein alayhi salam, na'uz billah, not a Kharji? Okay? Answer this question. And they're not going to give you any answer on this. What did they say? Yeah. So either Hussein is right or all these scholars are right. And I'm thinking I'm going to side with Hussein, sorry. I'm not going to side with any other person.
I would like to ask a question. Is uni loans are permissible as a Muslim?
So what now?
Uni loans as a Muslim, is it permissible or is it not?
If you have to pay interest on it, it's not. Doesn't matter if it's a student loan or not. If you have to pay interest on it, then why is it permissible? What's wrong with you? No. You don't confuse the basics.
For the future generation to go forward, what's the way forward for some of the, not everybody's fortunate enough to pay the uni fees and accommodation and X, Y, Z. So how we're going to produce politicians, surgeons, and all these top scientists?
First of all, don't say surgeons and politicians, the same statement, man. All the politicians are not your Harvard graduates. Okay? Most of the politicians are actually college dropouts in America. Why are you assuming that you have to be in Harvard to go into politics?
Doesn't have to be Harvard. Any uni, even in Newcastle.
Yeah. Most of the politicians in most of the countries are not your top university graduates. It's not a rule. We just need some of the people. And I've seen some of those people who have put their kids in Cambridge and Oxford. There's some. Rest of the people also can actually climb the ladders. That's not a rule. Cambridge nahi gaye, to phir politics mein nahi jana. That's not a rule. Cambridge wale ko help milni chahiye, magar ye rule nahi hai. Okay? I am trying to tell you, बात सुने, आप पॉलिटिक्स को डेमोक्रेसी ना समझ लें. पॉलिटिक्स का मतलब होता है, मार्क जकरबर्ग कॉलेज ड्रॉप आउट है. वो ज़्यादा बड़ा पॉलिटिशियन है डोनाल्ड ट्रंप और बराक ओबामा से. You need to know how these structures are formed. अब इस वक्त आपको ब्लॉकचेन मैं दे रहा हूँ, पावर मैथ्स मैं पकड़ा रहा हूं, आपने से परफॉर्मेंस दिखानी है आपने आपके बच्चों ने. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ सिंपल थिंग्स आर. और मैं आपको फिर बता दूं, अगर ये वाली बच्चियां न्यू कैसल की रेगुलर रिफॉर्म्स के बारे में जानती नहीं होंगी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट मी आस्क यू क्वेश्चन, नवाज शरीफ के बेटे का नाम क्या है? हसन हुसैन. किंग चार्ल्स का पूरा नाम क्या है? चार्ल्स का पूरा नाम बताएं. जो बादशाह सलामत है आपके सर, आपके बादशाह सलामत, गॉड सेव द किंग, याद है वो? उनका पूरा नाम क्या है? या ये मसला है सर. So you understand the problem? And I'm pretty sure किसी को भी नहीं आता इधर. मैं इसी तो कह रहा हूँ इंग्लैंड तो आ जाए पूरी तरह. इंग्लैंड की परफॉर्मेंस इंग्लैंड में तो देनी है ना. Get in the WhatsApp group. I'm going to connect everybody. It's not like I'm asking money for it. It's a free thing. IMS का प्रोजेक्ट जो है ना, IMS का, उसकी ऐप में सबको मैं लैच करवा दूंगा इंशाल्लाह.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम भाई. साहिल भाई.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
The question that I wanted to ask is, we are all here for a common cause in a way, but there is also a risk that I see that when we would go back, we will be in the environment where...
Abhi answer, Jeff, you just answered this. You need to connect, and we're going to make a group, and I'm going to lash that group with my app, so that you guys can get connected and talk to each other in different clusters.
Yeah, I get the point. Well, my question is, there's a dangerous statement that in our mind could come up and generally comes up after the session that, okay, this might be one of the way to look at Islam, and then it gets an aside. How do we fight that?
Any other way that you have to look at Islam can come under the subset of this one. Don't worry. We can do every way of Islam under this. I'm trying to tell you to make a career. No matter how you look at it or what kind of other organization or objective you want, you can fulfill it under this. It's not a problem.
जी मोहतरमा जी, आपका question जी फरमाइए. Mic, could you pass the mic, please?
Anyone who has not asked a question, please give her them or him the mic. Yeah. Let's just take. Okay, yes, please, quickly. Last questions, please. Okay.
This is the last question, please. Thank you.
I think all the parents here, like me, they want to know the basic steps, like who are the parents of younger children, where we start from. I know you're giving the big picture to communicate kids.
You start from after having a baby, first day?
No, actually 5 years old.
Oh, 5.
How can we give them the taste of Islam and also all these?
Okay, it's you need to understand how to create a story. Kids this age, actually kids any age, big guys though. Our brain latches onto a story to create an archetype. You need to tell that story. You need to create that story. And that story has to have a villain. And that villain has to have an attribute list and a repercussion of the damage. Then you introduce the hero. And that hero has to have attributes, clearly defined. Whatever that attribute list is, your kid is naturally going to latch onto those. Then you need to put those attributes in real life situations and he can get those attributes. That's how under 10-year-old children's parenting is done. Okay? If there is no villain, this is not going to happen. If there is no hero, this is not going to happen. If there is no drama, this is not going to happen.
So actually, like our kids are taking like all of the studies of Islam and all that, like basic.
जितना बोरिंग हमने अपनी अम्मियों ने
आपस में कैसे कम्युनिटी बनाए, छोटे बच्चों को ये चीज कैसे सिखाएं?
छोटे बच्चे कोई
पता घरों में ले रहे हैं, सब अपनी अपनी जगहों पे कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हम उन्हें अभी से ये चीज उनके अंदर कैसे इंस्टॉल करें कि आपने ब्रॉडर कम्युनिटी में जाना है और वो करना है.
5 साल के बच्चे को ना कर देना ऐसे कुछ, ये 12-13 साल में से कितना ऊपर. हाँ तो टाउन हॉल्स, आपका नाम क्या है? हमारा अगली ये टाउन हॉल आप अरेंज करें सिर्फ बच्चों के लिए. अभी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पर सारे इकट्ठे होंगे ना, उस पर अगली अनाउंसमेंट की डेट लॉक करें और आप आएं और बच्चों को मिलाएं एक्टिविटीज के लिए, स्टोरी टेलिंग करवाएं. बस इसमें कोई साइंस है. आपको मैं फिर बताऊं, एक लड़की ने आइडिया निकाला किसी न्यू कैसल की स्कूल खोलेगी, सारे बच्चे इकट्ठे हो जाया करेंगे, आप उसको पाउंड भी दे रही होंगी और वो बगैर इस्लाम के वही काम कर रही होगी। आपको मैं कह रहा हूँ वो उसमें करवाएं सबको, और इस्लाम भी लिखे, मगर आपने नहीं करना। You'll pay another girl for not an Islamic purpose to take care of your kids. I'm telling you to do it without paying anybody for your own kids and Islam. But no, that becomes an effort. That's what shaitan is. Now you will see the real shaitan. उसको काउंटर करके हाँ इधर अकेली खड़ी हो जाए हमेशा अपने बच्चों को लेके. People will see कि हाँ ये करने वाली है, आएंगी सारी.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are very grateful to you, ladies and gentlemen. I request please, sir, थोड़ी सी इजाजत दे दें कि जो लेक्चर आपने दिया है, साहिल साहब के इस्तकबाल में भी तालियां नहीं बजी, और अब अलविदाई तालियां तो कम से कम इनकी इजाजत से बजनी चाहिए. साहिल साहब के लिए जरा सर माइंड न कीजिएगा, बीबी अब टाइम प्लीज, अब बहुत चले, आपको एक मौका और दे देते हैं. लास्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज, उन्होंने जाना है. चलिए बोलिए.
Assalamu alaikum. I was born and brought up in this country. Born in Scotland. Born in Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Okay. So I'm a different parent to perhaps most parents here.
Keep the mic.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm a different parent to most parents here because most parents have come from Pakistan and I've come from here.
You're,
so my children are teen and beyond. Okay.
You're moving the microphone too much.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My point is here, when I was 16, I was volunteering quite a lot within the community, but we were doing quite a lot of the cultural stuff, the getting together, the Eid parties and things like that. Now, I want to know here, who from the men, the gentlemen, and who from the ladies wants to be a source, or few ladies and few men want to be a source where we come together from today, because it's no good, like the gentleman said there, we're just all going to go back home. We're not going to do anything, you know?
Yeah, most of us are not.
I want to now know who is going to form a core group from the men and from the ladies that we're going to take this forward.
So why don't you take the lead for the girls? There you go, see? Yeah, okay. Don't worry. I'll be a part of that group. I will be a part of that group. We'll see. We'll take it from there.
I want to invoke the men because it's very important, and I want to invoke the other ladies just because, you know, I've got early years education. I'm an early years teacher. So I can specialize in that. I don't know, I can help the under fives, you know.
What's your name? I'll wait for your name to pop up in all of those groups, inshallah. And I'm going to put some guy on the task, don't worry.
And people need to watch Muhammad Hijab, and I watch him a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका सवाल जवाब तो
मैं आ रहा हूँ नीचे इसे चलें.
So your vision for the Muslims in England here is that they get power in here, basically they become powerful, and then they make decisions in Pakistan.
No, not Pakistan, man. Everywhere.
You also mentioned Pakistan.
Everywhere, yeah.
Does that not, the problem doesn't it remain the same that people in England will be making decisions in Pakistan, even if they're Muslims, because they might be divorced from the real problems of Pakistan. They might not know the exact situation.
I'm talking about Muslims making decisions for Muslims, man. I don't care where they're from.
They will be making decisions for Pakistan.
What is English, man? It's all Islam.
Yeah, but they're still, they might not know the problems in Pakistan, the ground level problem in Pakistan. They are Muslims, but it's not necessary that some Muslims in one area might have the best interest.
We are in the same cluster. We will talk to each other. Why are you thinking we're not going to talk to each other?
English Muslims have power and they're making the decisions on Pakistan Muslims. Won't that give them?
You're actually disassociating Pakistanis and English Muslims. I'm not. No, I'm giving West Pakistan.
Like before pre-partition, West Pakistanis were making decisions for East Pakistanis who are now Bangladeshis that caused a lot of resentment among Bangladeshis, which led to the divide of East and West Pakistan. So
that was not for Islam, man.
Yeah, but how can we be sure that if English Pakistanis, when they get power, they will be sincere and they will not and they will not be like oppressive towards.
No, I'm not going to make sure. You will make sure. That's what you're going to make sure, man. That's the least you're going to do. Otherwise, you're going to create, monsters.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. बहुत शुक्रिया मौजूद होने के साथ गाँव में आकर के नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी सारे भाई आएंगे तो इंशाल्लाह फिर आपसे मज़ीद मुलाकात होगी. बहुत शुक्रिया. खुदा हाफ़िज़.
मेरे भाई का सलाम पाकिस्तान से कैप्टन आमिर नदीम आपको सलाम.
वालेकुम वालेकुम.
साहिल, मैं IMS का मेंबर हूँ, तो यहाँ पे हम अपना नया ग्रुप बनाएंगे या फिर उसी का मेंबर बनाएंगे? ये मुझे बड़ा मसला.
ये तो एक अलग ग्रुप बनेगा, मगर IMS का IMS में लिंक कर देंगे इसको, मगर इधर न्यूकासल का अपना इस अटेंडेंस का ग्रुप बनेगा. If there is enough group, yeah, of course. ग्रुप इकट्ठा करें, 10 दफा आऊँगा मैं.
Here temporarily. So अगर पाकिस्तान में तो how do I pay the system? आपने इंग्लैंड का बता दिया, यहाँ सिस्टम के थ्रू मतलब चलो.
Yeah, you don't qualify for this lecture. You qualify for the lecture I've been given all my life in Pakistan.
Can you give us summary?
Thank you.
सीरा की कोई भी बुक से शुरू करें, मगर कोई एक नहीं होगा. नहीं, आप इंग्लिश पढ़ने उर्दू में बच्चों के लिए मार्टिन लिंक्स. नहीं, वो बच्चों के लिए. किस लेवल का बच्चा है?
10 ईयर का बेटा है.
हाँ, मार्टिन लिंक्स. मार्टिन लिंक्स.